Oh, we're doing a podcast today. I hear. Oh, this is old Billy Shooter with the neck. We're gonna do a podcast, I guess. So
special guest Sarah Palin, everyone.
I was gonna say, how did we end up in North Dakota? Oh yeah,
that's my impression of Billy's. Is it Central Pennsylvania?
It's more. If you just say Pennsylvania Dutch, the people in the know will know.
Everything is a question, but not really.
Oh, everything's a statement, even when it's a question. So my old roommate used to get real upset because I wouldn't be like, "Are you going out tonight?" I'd say, "Oh, you're going out tonight," and he'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing? You're just saying stuff weird." All right, we'll get started. I'm Big Billy, and my accent is fat.
And I'm Chris, and my accent is worse.
Yep.
I don't even know. Okay. I'm Genevieve, and I got to meet a Felicia this week, and I got to say bye, Felicia. It was
I'm sure
amazing.
She's never heard it before.
I'm sure she was like, "You had to," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. Bye." Felicia.
I'm Frank. I'm on the struggle bus. I'm going to do my best.
I'm Jake, and I drive the struggle bus.
Why are you struggling so much today?
He's a drunkard.
Because I was out until 5 in the morning.
Why?
What? Doing what?
Hanging out with friends.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go out till 5 in the morning, so this is a remarkable event.
I know. My night started when I wanted it to end. Like, I was literally in bed watching Cheers on Netflix.
Yes.
And my friend texted me that they were going out in media, and I actually managed to get myself out of bed and dressed and down there.
Oh my God.
At 11:30 at night.
How in the fuck did that...
I would try to wiggle out of genuine emergencies at that stage of the night.
Yeah, right?
Like, oh, my house is on fire. Can you help? Sorry, I got the bola.
The bola.
I picked it up this afternoon.
Bola.
I honestly don't know what I was thinking.
What did you do until 5 in the morning? Because you can't... The bars close at some point, right? Or is it
2.
media where one of those...
No.
Like, there's after hours?
2 was when the bars closed. Then we went back to my friend's house, and then we played video games in a pool.
Oh, my God. Video games in a pool. Is that what you said?
No, we played video games and pool.
And pool.
Billiards.
At that point, you might as well just drop a toaster in the pool with you.
Yeah.
It's like
What games you guys play? This is fine.
We played one actually, and I let me see if I can figure the name of it. It was like a PS4 arcade game, and it was actually a lot of fun. It was basically just like a multiplayer version, I guess, of something like that.
Something like that.
That's my favorite game.
Yeah.
The best.
That's our new title we're making. Something like that.
Basically, it was like a 4D, like it was all 8-bit, like Mario style graphics, right? You've got sprites, and it's like almost like a platformer. Imagine like Mario, but with bows and arrows. Like there's four players on the map. And you've got these like Super Smash, like cross between like a Super Smash or Mario like map, and it's just one screen, right? And if you fall out of the bottom, you just reappear back on the top, and you get 3 arrows, and you have to try and kill the other people in the match with your by shooting them with your arrows, or by jumping on their head, a la like a Mario jumping on like the turtles or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you miss with your arrows, you can go pick it up, and then you get it back. And there's also like they'll drop like special things, so you can get like bomb arrows where it'll like stick into the ground and then blow up after a second, and then drill arrows which will go through like the map platform things. But it was a lot of fun.
That does sound good. They are coming out with a lot of good party games right now. I was just watching one. Excuse me. Yelling on the microphone like a professional. What the hell was that game? Neil Bog, where you're 2 stick figures that sword fight with each other, and you try to get to the other end of the map. Do you remember? We played it over at Bridger's house.
Oh, well, I don't remember Bog being part of the name of it, but oh man, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I will look at. I will research.
Anyway, thanks for this assist there. Anyway,
Ooh. We don't retain names here
I think
on TGNA.
I think the same makers made another game where you're like gladiators in a coliseum, and it's just like that, right? You're fighting, and then if you knock a guy down, you have to finish him off on the ground. That sounds nice and saucy, the way you like it, Chris.
Sauce.
But every once in a while, a weapon will generate, and it gives you a lot of. They have like tridents, so you can whip a trident across the level and skewer somebody. But these party games, these fast-paced combat party games, and I assume you die in one hit if you get hit with an arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are shields where you can then take 2 hits.
Right. Now, are the levels randomly generated?
No, they're preset. There were like a couple of different levels that we played. I can't remember how many.
Do you go back to a character select screen between each one, or does it just go right in the next level?
No, yeah, it's like the games are played until one person gets 5 kills.
Oh, okay.
So like you'll 4 people will start, and then you'll all play, and let's say one person kills all the other 3 in one game, and then kills 2 people in the next game. Then like basically after everybody's dead, the match resets, they respawn you, and then you continue until whoever gets 5 kills gets 5 kills.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
and
that
then
kind
you
of
can pick a new map and switch players and whatever.
Yeah, that kind of quick combat, quick reload.
It's like a 30-second battle.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more popular, I think. Okay, so
Sorry, interject. You were right. It does have hog in the name. It's called Nidhogg
that's what it is.
with 2 G's, all one word.
So, before we get into our planned topic, I must ask Chris, do you have any more fever dreams that we need to talk about?
Fever dreams.
Yeah. If you don't have it on the top of your head, we can just keep rolling.
Keep rolling, and I'll
Okay.
just randomly spurt it out.
All right, next time you're in a
Excellent.
sweat lodge, make sure to bring a notepad so you can write down.
All your brilliant ideas.
Yeah. All right, G, what topic did you want to cover today?
Oh, well, I wanted to talk about it last week, but we ended up not having a podcast. So I guess 2 weeks ago was Teacher Appreciation Week, and I thought it would be interesting if we talked about any educational games we played. I know I played a lot of like computer games like Jumpstart. There's like Mavis Beacon for typing.
Mavis
Unless-
Beacon.
Beacon.
I'll get download the type with the Mavis Beacon.
I'm sliding around.
Get on down in your
For our-
rider and hit on those Mavis Bacon.
I went down to Mavis Beacon's the other day. You know what she told me? She told me my index finger should stay on those keys with the little nudges on them.
For our international speakers, for listeners, you're getting all of the American accents today.
Mavis Bacon told me my fingers wasn't rat sized.
Welcome to Kentucky.
I was never gonna tap right.
Newfangled
had a beaver
contraptions.
I had a beaver bite off my ring finger one time.
One
So
time.
speaking of education,
Yes.
you named the only ones I played.
Jumpstart.
Yeah, those Jumpstart. I forget what they were called, but it was like grade levels, like 1
Yeah.
through 5, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I know
My sister had those, and Mavis Beacon was at school.
Right.
Yep. that was it.
I didn't have any of
So, like,
those.
I feel like I really only remember like 2 of them, and one was I think it was 3rd and 4th grade. I believe 3rd was like your character or your person that you're helping is a frog in a classroom,
Yeah.
and
As
there's like
you do.
Yeah, exactly.
The little
There's, like,
cartoon frog.
Yeah, and his
He's not gay.
This sounds more like Mavis Beacon's class. Go get a frog and help him to learn. Then you'll type.
look.
Frogs are
Takes
people
all
too.
kinds. And there's like a secret elevator, and you have to go to different levels and complete different tasks. And then the other one I remember is I think it was 4th or 5th. It's you're helping this scientist robot get back into the like secret scientist mountain, and like the science dude's daughter is like messing with you and like causing chaos because Mr. Science Man went away for the weekend.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Really? That was like my favorite one.
The one I do remember, one that was like underground, and you had the elevator to get between the different levels. I think that was like one of the other ones. And then I think it was grade 4 or 5 that I played when my sister was in that grade. So I was like way older, but I was like, "What's this about?" Oh, I smoked the whole. I smoked the whole thing. Okay, obvious, like on the package, not for me.
Yeah.
No wonder.
But you felt super smart.
I was like, "Yeah, well, you're
Like
dumb.
idiots.
You're a dummy."
This fucking game is so dumb.
I'm about to be a freshman in high school, and you can't even figure out. I nailed all these 5th grade mini games. Pop the balloons according to their color. Do basic multiplication.
Me, an intellectual.
Yeah, but no, the one I played the most of, it was just a schoolhouse you were in, and
Yeah,
you clicked around the room, and it was just a series of mini
That's the
games that were
Froggo one.
educational. Yeah. Oh, there was one. Math Blaster. I know
I
I
remember
know yo
that.
ass has played Math Blaster.
Oh yeah.
It was at HH. You never got to go to the computer lab?
No, dude.
Blaster.
I never got to do
Oh, man.
anything fun.
The prequel
Man.
to Ass Blasters.
Prequel?
Prequel.
Concurrent?
The Ass Blasters came first,
I thought it
but
came-
yeah.
but Math Blasters
Yeah,
picked up
and
the
then
story
they were like,
before
well, we
it.
need to add some education into this. So before that.
1 + 1 = poo.
So was it done by a Christian organization trying to preach that mathematics and science leads to homosexuality?
Yes, yeah,
okay,
probably.
just checking.
I mean,
I bought that for like 2 seconds.
It's the only explanation I could think of.
So
yeah,
what the
Math
hell
Blaster
was-
was fun.
What the hell was that?
It was like it was a pretty basic-ish math game, but every time you got a problem right, was it other aliens you fired at, or was it asteroids? I forget. But you were like in a little spaceship, and you had to, like, every time you answered a problem, you like successfully fired your lasers and hit something, and you would just like, I don't know. When you're younger than us, it adds a little sense of action to really basic math problems.
There you go. Do you guys remember, you ever play Zoom Beanies?
No.
yes.
I think I played like 2 games of that, and they're these like little fucking, you start with like 100,000 of them or something.
Those like Goombas.
Yeah, they're,
Like purple Goombas.
if you're not familiar with Mario, Goomba are the little mushroom enemies that you step on, and they have the little feet. And Zubinis was like that, and I think I only played 2 or 3 games in my whole life because I didn't understand how the fuck it worked. But everybody else I knew had played it, and you have to like get them from one end, like the shitty end of Zumbini continent to the good end. And like all I remember is you run into this giant face that's like, "Make me a pizza." And you're like, "All right, do you like a pepperoni pizza?" He's like, "I don't like meat." So you're like, "All right, like, let me put 5 mushrooms on your next pizza." He goes, "I don't like the number 5."
Basically, you're finding a pattern.
Yeah. So that's all you're like.
But
That's
it's
the only.
super weird.
So I don't
But
know.
number
if the-
5 will always love you.
Yeah. Well, and then like if you f up too much, he like kills one of your Zumbinis.
As you do.
Right. So like you had to make it to the other end with, I guess, a breedable population of Zumbinis.
Pretty intense.
Yeah, I think that's educational.
Procreation.
Like, you know, you're like,
Survival
oh,
to procreation.
like make a pizza via obscure hints from this demigod or else death. I don't know.
Well, it's better hints than many of us get.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Like, I didn't play so many educational games, but I did play Pajama Sam. You guys ever play that game? Oh my
No.
god, the greatest superhero ever. It was like this little kid. I think his color. I think he was blue.
Yep.
And wait, so you did play it?
No, I had a friend named Sam who dressed up as him for Halloween one time, and I was like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm Pajama Sam."
Was your friend a blue baby?
No, and
I thought
then
they fixed that.
no, and then later on, he asked me, and I made like a caricature or cartoon version of him as Pajama Sam. So I had to look up research materials for that.
I just think it was really progressive to like include members of the fetal infant
alcohol.
instant death syndrome or whatever survivors into the fold of video game characters.
Jesus Christ.
It's important. It's part of the education.
As a side note, Genevieve will take a commission to make some artwork for you if you're willing to wait 10 to 14 months for the product to be produced. But
It's all about the quality.
yeah, we'll make it. It's good. Look at our logo. That took
2 years.
100 years.
no, but okay. So
I've
pajamas.
got
She
things
did it
going
one
on.
pixel at a time. You got to give her a break.
Exactly. It's very time consuming.
Very well placed pixels.
Yeah. So
Precision. Precision, Bill.
Thank you.
somehow that was one word too many. I don't know. So in this pajama sand game, I think you are watching a child sleep, and he
As you do.
somehow ends up falling through a hamper or something into a fantasy world, and it's like, hey, this is a cool place where kids can go.
This is taking a dark turn.
And like,
My mind
like-
is like, whoa.
You had me at watching.
yeah, and then there's like there's appliances that are alive, like boats and dumb waiters and vacuums or something. It's really hard not to mix this up with
The brave little toaster.
the Brave Little
That's
Toaster.
literally where I was going to say, is this the prequel to
Yeah.
Brave Little Toaster?
We're all prequels today.
Oh, jeez. It also reminds me of that movie with Howie Mandel as a kid, I think, or maybe he was the monster. It's called like Monsters. Oh my God! If you've never seen that, it came out in like the
If
80s.
he was a kid or a monster.
No, look it up. Look it up.
Same difference.
That's the same thing.
Please, GC, you have your phone out. It's like Little Monsters, I think.
Monsters.
Real monsters.
It was Little Monsters. So this idea of this fucking movie was that like you turn your lights off and the monsters would come out from under your bed, and he sets up a trap so his bed falls and the monster can't go underneath, and they become friends. The short version with this blue-horned freakish monster from the 80s, and the kid eventually goes down to Monsterland, and they're like, okay, what would a kid's fantasy look like? And it's just like broken pieces of furniture piled stories high with like freakish ghouly monsters running around. And no parents. That's what they say. There's no parents, no rules. Ha ha. And like he's like, come on, kid, it's a kid's paradise. And they like cut to the next scene, and they're in basically a cafeteria line run by monsters. And there's just hamburgers and pizza and hot dogs and like soda pop. Like,
Hot dogs and soda pop.
yeah, they're like, kid's paradise, no rules, eat all the hamburgers you want. And I was like, is this what they thought kids were in the 80s? Like, they just sit around, boy, I can really go for a hamburger.
So-
That's
it
whole
looks like-
parents told me to
Shit,
eat
I
green
do that as
beans.
an adult.
Right? I want a hamburger right now.
Yeah, I want one too.
It looks like it was called Little Monsters, and
Yeah.
actually it had Fred Savage as the kid.
Yeah.
I have not figured out who the monster is yet.
Howie Mandel.
Is he really?
I know Howie's in that movie because that's how I ended up watching that hunk of
I mean,
shit.
he's in it. Is he really? Wow. Okay.
I talked to one of the guys at work, and he's like, I actually really like that movie. After I spent 20 minutes shitting on it, it was fucking brutal. And it, like the thing that really I didn't like about it is they do like a lot of body horror. Like these monsters' heads will expand and like swell and
Yum.
yeah, I didn't like it so
So
much.
a kid's guide to Cronenberg.
Yeah. And well, okay, so the reason I mentioned that was because of the hamburgers. Well, Pajama Sam fell into this other kid's world, which was less body horror and hamburgers and more like some cool like park at night with
With hot dogs
with talking appliances, yeah.
instead of burgers.
And he's like running around in his pajamas, and he has to figure out how to get out of there via puzzles. So like not really educational, but it was still puzzle based. And I remember one thing, like the kind of hints that you had to figure out were like rhymes or logic or something basic like that. I wanted to get on a dumbwaiter to go to the next level. And every time I tried to do it, it was like a click adventure, you know what I mean? You click on things to action them and you get feedback. The dumbwaiter would go, That's a no. We devour it. No, we just simply can't allow it. And I was like, what the fuck does devour mean? And it's like abhor. So I learned that when I looked it up.
Educational.
He had to look it up himself, though.
But it made you curious. You thirsted for knowledge.
I guess that's true.
Mm-hmm. And then eventually I figured out, like, I had to go to another room where you were allowed to get in the dumbwaiter, and then it took me where I needed to go.
Oh.
But
You're a dumbwaiter, Bill.
damn, dude. But Pajama Sam was pretty dope. There was like 1 or 2 or 3 of those games. And then there was another one that I think the same people made where you were a car. You were like silly car or something like that. But
Crazy Taxi.
yeah. There was one I used to play when I went over to my friend David and Michael's house. It was like a video game with, it was so old. I think it ran on DOS or whatever.
Nice.
And you drove these trucks around. I just remember the one game you would like steer a truck over to shapes on the left side, and on the right side, positioned differently, were the same shapes with a number. So like your little truck had to go pick up 5 triangles and then move it over to the right side to the 5 and the 3 triangles that were over there.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I remember playing it as a kid, and it was fucking intense. Like, I was like, oh no, like, oh 5, I know what 5 is. Like I'm like clicking the directional arrows because computers were really difficult when you're like 3 or 4 or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And like I played that game one time, and for some reason I didn't play it for years, and I kept dreaming about it. I loved that game. Trucks, shapes, colors, DOS motherboard sound effects. Boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop.
Oh boy.
Everything you could want as a kid. I went back and played it when I was like 12, and it sucked. It was so trivially easy. I was like, no, my childhood is shattered. But I just think these goddamn kids these days just have it so good. There was a period of time when my cousins were young, and I guess they're 5 or 6 years younger than me, when they were coming out with imitation kids game, like they were look like kids, like Nintendo 64s basically. And they're like, oh, this is an educational thing with a cartridge that's not removable, and your kid can learn to brush its teeth or something like that. and I was like, that's stupid. But
Move the stick back and forth.
But Leapfrog is apparently pretty successful, right? Like,
Yeah, they're one of the big ones in terms of like child educational games.
But kids' educational games have to be almost totally out the window now with iPads and apps, right?
Oh yeah, because I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I think Leapfrog kind of like jumped on that and kind of had like they have like their own app too as well. So.
Yeah, and they have at least one, I'm pretty sure. I have 2 young cousins, second cousins now, with a third alarmingly close. I'm just like, oh, why are you reproducing, you guys? Stop it. But they got showered. They're the only young kids in the entire family.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, their birthdays and Christmas and shit are bountiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure they still get them, all kinds of educational related stuff.
Frank didn't play any of these games because he
already had the
thumb
software downloaded.
he just downloaded
He
it.
just plugs into the Matrix and downloads
I
it.
don't think they had USB back then.
You were
Okay,
ahead,
so
of,
you got
you were
your
ahead of your
floppy
time.
disk.
It was like a 15
The
pin
literal
connector.
floppy disk.
True.
Okay.
Zip drive.
Yeah, so I'm always shocked by how much kids are on like tablets and phones and stuff. Like the adults in the office will talk about they're like, yeah, my kid, I had to limit them to 3 hours a day on the iPad. They're just always asking for my phone. And like, I used to be pretty limited in how much Nintendo I could play. Now they're like my 3-year-old niece knows how to use an iPad. Is that all these kids do?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I look back on my rearing with desktop computers. I mean, I had a Windows 3.1 in my bedroom when I was like 4. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, if they heard me playing on it into the night, I'd get in trouble. And if I was spending extended periods of time in my room, I mean, I still found myself doing a lot of other stuff because I had like on a floppy disk, I had like 8 classic arcade games that I could play on my computer. Pretty fucking dope. And I had a handful of other ones too. And it was definitely, I mean, this is the early 90s. Not common necessarily, right? But I mean, I grew up with them. So by the time I was, you know, in the double digit years, I already knew how to use a computer better than my parents. Or at least, maybe not my dad, but my mom, for sure. And it only kept going from there. And there is, I think it's just that exposure thing, right? Like, we live in a world that's saturated with these devices. The kids almost have to get their hands on them. They don't have to, but if they, I mean...
If you go to your friend's house and they have it, then they're going to start asking for it. And
yeah,
at some point, I mean, I don't know if it's parents.
And a
just
lot
want
of
them
it's
to
really
shut up
affordable.
or-
Like, you can get an older iPhone for dirt fucking cheap with, like, don't even bother with the data plan. Just keep it at home, and it's their Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cheaper than it cost our parents to buy us a Game Boy and games.
Yeah, that's true. It seems so bizarre to me. I think the big jump is that, like, you know, when I had my Game Boy and I was playing Pokemon or whatever, I couldn't wander onto the internet, right? It just seems strange to me that kids have that whole world to get in trouble in available to them. So, like, you know, I don't have any kids, obviously, so I can't speak as a parent or anything, but that's sort of what alarms me the most about the idea of kids having iPhones or iPads or whatever. And now you can limit them, like you can set permissions and stuff, but a lot of people don't do that. They don't know how, or they choose not to. That's what kind of worries me, because they can start, you can wander wherever. But like, the amount of time that these children are spending on these devices. Okay, so I got a computer when I was in my teens, and I set it up in my room. I paid for it with my own money, set it up there. And then my mom and my stepdad were like, no, and they made me move it down to the main room, right? So I couldn't even be alone with that kind of technology, let alone on it all the time. Like, you know, I was still limited. I couldn't get on without permission, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's just bizarre to me how much exposure these kids have to this technology. And I guess it's necessary to a degree, right? Because you don't want to, I didn't have a computer when everybody else at school did. I was typing on a fucking whisper writer, which is, it shows like 4 lines of text. And I'm like, on like an old, like, I don't even say LED. It was like, you know, like blocks. The letters were blocks, and it refreshed one time every second. And I would write like a 4-page paper and have to scroll through it on this little screen, and then you click print, and it literally would print like a printer, like, but the paper would cycle through as though it were a typewriter. It was like
The paper that had the holes on the side that you had the little perforation you had to tear
no.
out.
You would take it. No, you would take it 8.5 by 11, and you would twist it in and line it up like
It's
a
a typewriter.
typewriter. But then it would print like a printer, right? So it was just a fucking train wreck, and I had such. And sometimes it would like turn off or get rid of.
What, like a
paper.
niche piece of technology, like
Yeah.
in that awkward like
Not a
90s.
typewriter,
getting
not
there
a computer.
phase.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember 4th and 5th grade, like struggling so hard with schoolwork because everybody else had the internet. I'm like, I don't have the internet, okay, you know. But you know, I don't know. It just I can't help but sort of have this vision of people just being like, all right, here's an iPad, kid, see you later. You know what I mean? Or I've always thought kids like monkey around and they run off. And
No, I mean, I remember one time I was at Target moseying around, and the kids, like, when the parents give them their kids their cell phones to shut up, like, they're actually playing like these games, like these Leapfrog style, like, educational games, because they're simple, they're cartoonish, and they're easy for the kids to digest, and they're actually taking a lot more information. Like we were playing Math Blaster, like there was a lot to take from that. You know, it was entertaining from like a visual perspective, and there was educational value to it.
You
so.
were rewarded for getting good at the skill they were trying
Yeah.
to cultivate.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So
And it definitely did progressively get very difficult. Like, I'm sure if I played a game like that now, like, I would probably struggle later on in the game. It did get very hard.
well, so what I was getting down to with that whisper writer thing was that I struggled a lot in like late high school, early college, because I had just fallen behind the technology curve so much because I wasn't exposed to it. So like I do think kids need.
And then you
exposure.
decided to be a computer nerd major.
Yeah. But
What was your major? Computer nerd.
yeah, I'm a major computer nerd.
Got my
I'm a master
bachelor's in computer nerd.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's, I don't want to sound like I'm being like, there's damn kids, because I know there's a lot of value to gameplay, and even beyond the hentai coordination and reaction time.
I thought you said hentai.
That's what I
Hentai
thought too. And I was
coordination.
like, wow, we are really fancying it up for that.
How many tentacles can you fit?
It's
How
educational.
many tentacles?
1, a 2, a 3.
I don't know why, but like
Thank you for picking that reference up.
Perfectly done.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think this all pales in comparison to Space Teens.
Space Teens.
Space.
I thought
Space
that was a
Teens.
kid's game for a second, but surely that's a porn.
It is
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
not a porn.
Yes, it is. It's now a porn. Someone's made a porn of it.
Wait, it's not. What is it?
Every second that you watch it, you think it's about to be a porn,
Okay.
but it's not. It's not even real.
It's is it the Canadian Space Team?
You made it
Yes.
up? You just
From
made it
How
How
I
up?
Met
Met Your
Your Mother.
Mother. No, it's a TV. It's a
Okay, that's what I thought when
Yeah.
you said that, but I was like, surely he's talking about something for
no.
real.
Yeah, it's from a TV show.
Oh, okay.
It's a TV show on a TV show
This was just a
Excellent.
rolling
with the Canadian
steam
Space
engine of
Beaver.
references.
Yes.
These past minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Canadian Space Beaver.
Is like
Didn't they both have space beavers?
They have their mascot pet.
I'm going to shove all my
Space
tentacles
Beaver.
in both of your space beavers if we don't move on.
like okay, are kids nowadays, are they really getting
Too many
more
space
exposure to technology
And tentacles.
than I was?
Yes.
Yes.
Are they also really not going outside anymore?
Yes.
I don't go
Yes.
outside anymore.
Well, Bill, you also have to remember too. Most schools these days are issuing kids iPads and laptops.
Yeah, actually.
Really?
Yeah, there's
yeah,
like
they're getting. It's
I don't know
called,
if it's most.
It's called a one-to-one initiative.
I don't know what that means.
It's for every pretty much every kid, for every student. There's going to be, I think it's called one-to-one if I'm not mistaken. But they're pretty. Every kid gets a piece of tech. They're getting their own school issued laptop. Even if they're at home, like it's so restricted though, because like even at home they can't even access Netflix on them.
okay.
So, but like,
I mean, it's
they're-
pretty. If you feel like a network administrator, like it's pretty easy to put those kinds of restrictions.
Do you
in
remember
place.
that school that was spying on its kids through the school?
That was
issued
Lower
laptops?
Merion.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wait, what? What was it?
Please
Right.
reiterate what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids had laptops. The laptops had webcams in them, and the school could like turn them on and look to see what the kids were doing, and they did sometimes.
What did they find?
I don't know.
Okay.
Caught kids like smoking weed. I think there might have been. They suspected that they caught kids like banging or jerking off or something. Just like in the background of their own homes, you know what I
Right.
mean? With the laptop up. I think there might have been some destruction of evidence. It's like it's going to end up being a huge lawsuit if it hasn't resolved already.
Yeah, I don't remember. This was like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Lower Merion.
It's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
What has to go through your head, like as an administrator, to be like, we need to spy on these kids at home?
lack of confidence in their own leadership.
Is that really what it
Even
is?
that, like, what are they expecting kids to be? Is it like more?
No, they did
nefarious
exactly
than-
what they wanted them to do, right? They
Yeah.
caught them smoking weed, and then they would punish them at school
Right.
for these things they did
For-
at home.
even regardless of the blatant invasion of privacy that
Yes.
that is.
I mean, these are government employees, most of them, right?
Mhm.
Public
Yeah.
schools. you needed a warrant for that, just like anyone else.
I just don't know what goes through people's heads. But I get, are we, my real question is, are we going to end up being the greatest generation because we had to put up with technology when it was dog shit? You know what I mean? Am I a hero?
Well, we still didn't fight through. We didn't fight through World War II, so
But I had to fight with a whisper writer. That's pretty horrible.
It's pretty much a Nazi.
I mean, we might be the greatest generation for the sheer power that we now wield, having survived these tribulations.
Right.
For example, I'm pretty sure if you hand me 2 Game Boys and a link cable, I can still clone you any Pokemon you want.
Exactly.
And I haven't done it in 2 decades.
No, but
that's really what the business world needs.
That is god tier power.
Precisely.
Mew is rare, not anymore.
The problem that one of the problems I run into, like thinking about the kids these days, I just remember how much bullshit it was. Do you remember like having to search scholarly
those databases?
Online sites to get reliable.
Dude, I've had to do that,
papers.
bro. In college, we still do that shit.
Ugh. I remember the days of when Google was like total ass. There was nothing. There weren't YouTube videos, and internet was terrible. So like now these kids.
There was a really bright time for the internet, and it's getting dim again. But we're winning, by the way. Just not to commandeer your topic, but we won phase 1 of the FCC bullshit.
Yeah, the Senate, but it's not. The Senate voted to overturn the FCC's.
Yeah, no, it's gonna get
order to get rid of net neutrality. But the House and the President are gonna shit on it. But I remember struggling so much because I was so technologically limited that I would handwrite. Jesus, I remember handwriting essays for school, and then like writing them in pencil, and then writing over them in pen so that I would make mistakes, and then erasing the pencil. Or it was just like
I was taught that trick.
Yeah,
even growing up with computers,
it was
just sometimes once in a blue moon we would have to handwrite something.
Yeah. Now I don't think that
hand wrote the majority of my essays in high school.
Yeah, that shit doesn't happen anymore.
No.
And even now you don't even have to. Surely soon you will not have to type at all. That dragon speak, naturally speaking stuff is going to be so good. Speech to text.
Mm.
Like, I sort of, like, every once in a while I'm like, God damn these kids. There's so many opportunities.
I don't know if I like that, though, because for me personally, I can write well, but you all know how I talk.
Speaking is hard.
So, like, it's speaking,
mouth words.
I would still prefer typing something like that because you write differently than you speak most of the time.
I mean,
not everything is a prose,
I endeavor to type the way I speak, and I frequently get feedback on it, like at work and shit. I'm like the intra-company chat client and stuff. It's just like, what? Like, that was really clear. There was no ambiguity. You spelled everything right. Like, yeah, it's me. To the point of like manipulating it, like italicizing, increasing size, like ellipses, all the works. It's a skill unto itself.
The real secret is typing in Comic Sans. That's how everybody does
it. That is the alpha.
The omega is the all caps, and 5 exclamation points.
Right.
I'm going through a lot of old files on our server at work. At some point, someone made an advertisement, just like a page of stuff about chiropractic things in all Comic Sans, and it just I deleted it because it was like, I don't care what this says, this should not exist.
You couldn't just go in, Control
so
A,
bad.
Change the font.
No.
I wonder how
it
many
was
people...
from 5 years ago, so it wasn't even with the current doctor. So doesn't matter. It's just their old material. But
I wonder how many people in HR had to go through resumes that were done in Comic Sans.
But why are you
I would
choosing,
I would
like,
immediately just refuse an application if I
I feel like
received
you
it.
have to try really, like you have to go in and like select Comic Sans. Like who is making that decision? When
This
there's
is how
already, like-
medicine can be fun.
Yeah.
So, a friend of the show, Christine, who has been on before, I was on her phone the other day.
Is it all Comic Sans?
In her yes. Yep.
Ah, Christine.
Sorry.
Thanks for jumping the gun on
I
that.
got excited.
Boo.
In the text,
Boo.
everything in the text app is Comic Sans. It's oh my god.
I feel like my mood would just be like in the shitter all the time just because of that.
Like nothing taken seriously.
I'm certain that something said, "Do you want to customize your text?" And like, because there's no way that she sought out the means to change the text like organically, right? Something had to prompt her.
She wasn't like, I need this to be in Comic Sans. Let
Yeah,
me go find
like-
out how to change it.
It's just like, I think that this is like the generation thing. Oh, this looks cute. Let me do it. This is like the old people Facebook. Oh, I like this
my
text.
God.
It's so fun.
No, see, Facebook is the old people Facebook.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if you're aware.
My mom's thing right now is Bitmoji, but like I will say, her Bitmoji is on point. It looks just like her, and it's so precious, and it is actually her.
Mom.
It's actually her personality, but like it's definitely the old people
All right. So
thing.
what is a Bitmoji? Since I've never used one.
It's like an avatar you make for yourself. You can use it on Snapchat, and you can make Facebook posts with it. But it's like a cartoon version of yourself.
Yeah, here I'll just show you.
All right. Oh,
But yes, there's. I feel like she's done that a lot too on Facebook, Christine.
I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time.
I remember somebody posted. Okay, so they're like little cartoon versions of yourself.
Yeah.
Like very stylized. Wait, is
haven't
this you, Chris?
That's me.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. You definitely look. That's
There's a thing now where, like, apparently to make it more accurately like you could take a picture of yourself, and the app will
I like how you
create it.
Jake glanced at Chris's Bitmoji for less than a second and
Less
said,
than.
"That's enough information."
Between half and 3/4 of a second, I was
into
like,
my brain.
Was it the
Take this away.
spicy of me where I'm a chili pepper, but it says spicy?
oh.
This really does look like a picture of you, of someone who has neither seen you or anybody who looks like you, but heard a description like white, like
Like
whitish
someone played
skin,
telephone in the description.
beard, hair, brown. You know what I mean? Like
Sunglasses.
okay, yeah,
Am I
sunglasses.
that generic, Bill?
Yes.
That picture of you is.
we are all generic. We
Well,
are all legion.
But the best Bitmoji I ever saw was somebody posted on Reddit. Their mom made one around Thanksgiving, and it was their mom on top of a turkey dabbing.
Yes.
it was friggin' dank.
oh no!
See, that's
So-
the kind of Bitmoji my mom would use.
Look, Hillary Clinton has dabbed, and therefore it's dead. I don't know. I don't know why people keep doing it.
The creepiest thing I think about Snapchat, but also Bitmojis, is this feature.
Where you can find
I hate
people.
it.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
If you check in somewhere.
Not check in.
Oh, is it just
this is
anywhere you
just
are?
constantly tracking your location if you choose to share your location. So you can just like fire up the map and see exactly where your friends are that are sharing their location.
That is fucking weird. Like
And
Google
it
does.
shows their Bitmoji as like where they are.
Google is also has that thing. Share your trip progress, right?
You mean Uber?
No, Google. Like if you're using Google Maps,
Oh.
you can show your trip progress. You can share it with a specific person, which I haven't done it yet. But that just means that they have that data in a way that's easily shared. I can't believe Snap is doing that. I thought
Dude,
Snap was all about like,
Privacy?
yeah, and like no
Yeah.
consequences.
You have to opt into it. You have to opt into it, and it is very easy to turn off. But like, Google was already doing that, Bill. Like, I mean, how do you think they get the real time traffic on their app? Like, it's constantly tracking how many people and how dense the area is that you're on. Like, even whether or not you're using the app. So that's how they get their traffic data.
Oh,
which-
I know this. I just like the fact that they already have everything to share it with other people. Like ready to go is what I found to be remarkable.
No, I just wanted to mention, I reflected the other day on how frustrated I get when Google Maps takes forever to like figure out what the best way is and all that. Like I'm sitting there in my car like, God damn it, I need to go. I'm late.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's literally using satellites and like calculating information from everywhere and like finding the best way and where there's traffic, where there's an accident and happening in like a few seconds. And I am so frustrated that it's taking more than 1 second. Like it just, that level of like
Garmin
so
never took
much
that long.
expectation.
Google has this shit in their maps, and I use maps every day because my commute to work is like 45 miles. It's like today it said it'll come up with a little message at the bottom, and it was really annoying before I could mute maps, which I don't know that you could always do. You could turn it down, but I don't know that you could mute it. Now you can mute it. Now you can, but I think there was a period of time where it was really difficult. It's like, have a nice trip. I'm like, Google, don't fucking tell me to have a nice... I don't care what you have to say.
Heard her say
You're not my
that.
supervisor.
Right? Like, today it popped up and said, have a nice trip. And there's a little thing, dismiss. And I'm like, can you fuck off, please?
I've never seen it do that for me before.
It is... And, like, it'll pop up, like... it says 46 minutes, and I click go, and I want to go, right? And it goes, 46 minutes despite usual traffic. And I'm like, don't fucking talk to me. Stop talking to me, Google Maps. Oh, my God. Like, the only thing I want to know is, like, if I have the sound on, when a turn's coming up, or if you found a better route. And I'm 100% sure that it's just being used to soften us up to your phone just fucking talking to you all the time. It's going to be like, hey, why don't you stop at McDonald's? And you'd be like, no. And then go, okay, we'll stop at Arby's then. You know what I mean? They're just softening us up for fucking advertisements or something. Really, ooh.
Arby's does have the meats, to be fair.
We have the meat.
They have the best commercials in the
They
worst
do have
food.
the best commercials with their pum, 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 pum. Whatever.
Too bad the food sucks.
There's an Arby's, and I've literally never seen anybody go there. I've heard about people who like Arby's, but I've never seen anybody in the parking lot on the Arby's on 202.
I really want Chick-fil-A, but it's Sunday.
Yo, it's Sunday though.
I always
That's
want it on
always when
Sunday.
you want it though.
That's
Yeah,
literally
that is
that's the
when I want it.
truth.
You just want what you can't have.
Well,
Exactly.
okay, here's the... I do commonly get it on Saturdays when I'm, like, actively going. Like, because I'll think, like, I'm going somewhere near Chick-fil-A. I'm like, oh, it's Saturday. I'm going near Chick-fil-A. I got to grab Chick-fil-A. But I don't leave my house that much, so it's not often that I pass by. Because there's, like, no Chick-fil-A, like...
There's none around here. Like
It's
you gotta
Downingtown
go-
and Glen Mills.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Anyway,
Well, so I guess these damn kids really do have better educational games.
What?
Better or just more?
What were we talking about?
More
Educational
and
games?
better.
Good
More and
together.
better.
Roller derby.
I do remember when I went to Catholic school when I was younger in Philadelphia,
you poor thing.
and we had a computer class. The only real, well, I have several memories that weren't so great, but the most frustrating was the nun who ran library class,
There's a library class.
Here's how you put books away.
Sister Teresa, and she was a jerk. Surely she's dead by now. So I guess I shouldn't speak too ill of her. But,
Feel free.
Yeah. She's not going to
Yeah.
do anything.
Teresa,
Power through it.
I believe in you.
me and this guy, I know his first and last name. I can remember it. I'm not going to say it on the microphone, of course. First name was Mike. But,
Flip Glorp.
yeah, Mike Lipglorp. We both borrowed Horton Heard a Who. And, we took it home, we read it, and we brought it back.
Like one copy together or
No,
two?
two. We
different
both got our own copies of Horton Heard a Who. We came back, we returned our books, and you put them in this like egg crate to return them. And I remember we returned the same book, and we made eye contact. We're like, oh, look at us, two kids returning the same book. Isn't that crazy? We threw it in the thing, and then a week later, I got in trouble for not having returned my book, and so did he. And I said, we returned it, and Sister Teresa goes, well, the computer doesn't lie. Well, I'm not lying, and me and Mike both returned it together. So
He was mad that you had this homosexual tension with another kid.
The computer doesn't lie, but the people who operate computers are often dumb.
Yes. User error.
and sometimes computers do fucking lie because the way that
Sure.
the software is written is fact.
Thanks to you, Bill.
But if it's just a matter of checking a box, oh, this book was returned, and saving the document,
Right.
that's
Bill
user
was too
error.
busy talking about the worst movie of the month instead of debugging somebody else's garbage code. Quality not assured.
Shut the fuck up.
Safety
Quality
is not guaranteed.
sabotage.
No, but the real thing I remember is we had like computer class, and I don't remember the name of the guy who taught it. Sorry, guy who taught Catholic school class.
Whatever, you suck,
Computers.
guy.
Anyway, our fun time, and I think we were all.
Oh God.
I think we were all on like Apple IIs, some really old machines. But he would
Somebody hit the laugh button.
Oh my God. That was insane.
what that laugh?
Yeah,
Jake gave me, when I
Because
said
you're talking in mid-sentence.
I gave him a intensely concerned look at the term fun
when I said
time.
fun time.
I was like, huh?
uh,
I know how to get under his skin, man. It's
he
a-
would take over all our computers and play this game, and I don't remember what it was called, but you'd be like walking through an old school or building with a remote control, and every once in a while the monster would pop up, and it was a walking television, and you had to turn around and shoot it with your remote gun, or else he would get you and the game would end. And the big thing was, the teacher would be playing the game, and when like the monster appeared, all the kids would go, Telly, because that was the monster's name. Then he would turn around.
That's
and try to
the
shoot it.
least threatening name ever.
What was
Telly.
his name? He was a
Telly.
television. so his
Tinky
name was
Winky.
Yeah, that's what I was going with too.
Dipsy.
La la.
Education was not very good on
you
that game.
you spent time in computer class.
Did you guys take classes to learn how to type, by
Yes.
the way?
Yeah.
I did.
Mhm.
Because they made me do that in 4th grade, and I remember being so proud of myself for asking if it was mandatory, because I just learned that word, and my teacher was like so exhausted with me as a
Believable.
yes, it's mandatory.
Is this man? Am I being detained? Come back with a warrant.
Actually, I had to take a typing class. Like it was like typing computers. Like I guess because I'm old and this is at the dawn of everything. Like it was like they were like real serious about it. They took anything involving like using a computer very seriously. They used typing. Like all of those things were like real serious when I was a kid.
We
Even in elementary school, which was like actually I guess the real true like dawn of like everybody having a computer.
so we didn't. You went to a different elementary school than I, Jake, even though we were in the same district. We had a lady come in who had a little bit too much personality for me, if we're going to be perfectly honest, even in 4th grade. And she would like wheel in a cart with these horrible, like almost whisper writers, but they didn't type anything. And like they would have, we would pull them out of this cart, and they were all like little typewriter looking things. And they'd be like, okay, find your home key with your left pinky, A. And then you would look, and it would appear on there. And I think maybe it took some sort of like metrics on how you typed on your little machine that you would then return at the end of class to the cart. But it was so like it's so preposterous. They would wheel in a cart of typewriters, and it was so boring. And we had like this little paper tent, they called it, so that you couldn't look at the keys. All right, put your tents down to hide your fingers. A, B, A, B, A, B, A,
Was she secretly a troll? Like,
You
what
know, and
is
it's
this
like-
voice?
And you know what? Actually, it turned out to be really fucking useful, and I'm really glad I had the
It
class.
hides the fingers beneath the tent, or else it gets the hose again.
Yeah, I know. That was like some really weird
But
serial killer type stuff.
do kids just learn to type naturally now? Right?
I think so.
Is that what they do? Like they don't have to take that horrible class.
I remember taking that class, and we had those things that you put over the keyboards. But I'm really good at typing now. I type so fast.
I
Nan lacks half a sack. That was one of the sentences we had to type like 100.
Man
What?
laughs half sack.
Nan lacks half a sack.
Awesome.
Nan.
Yes.
Nan.
Awesome.
Yes.
Nan.
Like your grandmom.
It's just Nan.
Nan.
Nan
Good.
lacks half a sack.
Yep.
Great.
But she has the other half.
Excellent.
I don't know.
Very
Dude,
good.
what
They
the
didn't finish.
fuck? That is a question or a statement. What?
That was one of the
Pennsylvania.
sentences that we had to type like 100 times.
Oh, Nan lacks half a sack.
And
Where'd
then
she-
that
where-
was like
trying to go through this like with an air keyboard. That's fucking hard.
Listen, G,
Yes.
you don't say "oh" before every question. You say "Nan laughs half a sack."
Oh.
Oh.
Right.
We're all
Nan
dead.
lacks half a sack.
We did like
I think that's the most educational thing that you possibly could have been asked, right? There's so much depth to that.
Nan lacks half a sack.
Yeah, what in the fuck does that
it
mean?
means
Does she lack it?
it means
Or is she blessed with an extra half of a sack?
And just missing.
It's just missing one, so she's
Yeah, and in
normal.
Yeah. Is she normal?
how big is this sack?
unreal.
I need weights and volumes. But more importantly, my turn.
Oh, okay. Sorry, buddy.
No, I did the Mavis Beacom thing in like 5th and 6th grade, and then we never had another typing class again.
What the fuck was Mavis Beacon?
It was a typing instruction, but it was like a game kind of.
I bought it for my mom because she can't type for shit. She still hunts and pecks. By the way, I work with people who are software developers who still do the hunt and peck, aka seek and destroy method of typing.
Which is what?
You look at the keyboard with your eyeballs. You take your 2 pointer fingers on either hand, and when you find the key, you push it with your pointer finger.
Oh my goodness.
All right?
Unpack.
These are senior level developers, team leads. They still do this. They get work done. I don't know how. I guess it makes sense though because they seem to work
Can't
long
teach
hours.
an old dog new tricks.
You
Well,
certainly
I mean,
can.
that's not like you have to do a ton of typing really quick as a developer. You're not like, oh, I just figured out how to write all 3,000 lines of this code all at once. Blah, 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 blah. I'm done. Go ahead, Bill. Find some bugs.
Yeah, I mean, they do have to do a lot of writing. I don't know how it gets. I probably do the least amount of writing as QA. I do a lot of clicking and breaking.
I was going to say you probably do a lot of deleting.
Don't pretend to understand me.
Don't presume Bill's job.
Yeah, I just don't know how. I don't know how they survive.
assume-
Are you
Anyway,
presuming jobs?
I'm presuming his job, yes.
so I attempted. I bought it for my mom years ago because it is so painful to watch somebody type that way. Like, okay, just do this thing. Like, go to the. Can you help me fix this problem? Sure. Go to this website. Clunk clunk, clunk clunk, clunk clunk. She never used it. She never used it, but it was a cool game, and I think I finally broke the disc just so I could never hope that she would use it.
Wow.
That's pretty severe.
Wow.
I spent the $9 on it. It sat there for 15 years. I threw it out. I gave up.
Jeez.
But what was the game? It was like, was it like one of those like the circle, the letter O falls from the sky and you have to type it?
I don't think it was anything like that. I think it tried to like train your motions to hit each key specifically, and then it would have you like type out words. I think I vaguely remember them scrolling across the screen, and you having to type them out in a defined amount of time.
Was it like Guitar Hero for?
Basically, without the fake any of it. It was just
Basically, but no.
it was just this asshole teacher standing at the front of your screen, and then the scroll, and then it had the keyboard. I think it had a picture of the keyboard, and it could like see, it would like show you the motion you should make, like how to teach.
So was Mavis Beacon like the world's greatest typist? Did she code the game? Like who was this Mavis?
Why is she Beacon?
Some hoe,
Jesus Christ!
some bitch.
What?
I
Was
don't
she
know.
like good looking, or was she like really
I mean,
momly looking?
She was professional looking.
She was a person.
Bill, I literally just showed you a picture of her.
Is that who that is?
That pic-
Yes.
Is that really who it
That's-
is?
That was Mavis.
That picture was heavily doctored.
Yeah.
That's
That was a
true.
meme.
Does she have any nudes? That's how.
Allow me to find out.
Some bitch.
What the fuck?
Wow, that really.
Some
We're
bitch.
not the only ones that have searched that.
This is the internet. I'm sure there's Rule 34 of Mavis
Oh my
Beacon.
goodness.
Wait, Chris, what did you find? A bikini picture?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my
I don't
God.
think that's her though.
So did I ever tell the story about how my cousin used one time? Well, he used to do it more often. He used to call Hooked on Phonics.
Oh no.
Yeah, because the number was 1-800-ABCDEFG. And we called up one time and we're like, "Hello, Hooked on Phonics. How can we help you?" And he goes, hung up the
Whoa.
phone. Yeah, and I called back. And we did it again. That was
Whoa.
our prank call. We would call them up.
Wow.
Make fart
Crazy.
noises. And we would
Next
call
level.
them late at night because they were 24 hours. Oh, that was the adventure. That was our adventures.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. This is also the same cousin that I got in trouble inadvertently because he had a secret version of a Kid Rock CD that he wasn't allowed to have.
Oh, no.
But I was so excited that he had it. I told his mom because I wanted her to be excited too. And then she immediately in front of me told him to go get it and confiscated it. And then she gave me shit for snitching him out. It was like 20 years later I explained I didn't understand snitching because I didn't have siblings. And I'm a loser.
Well, definitely that.
Yeah. So Genevieve,
Yes.
you were the one who talked about you wanted this topic. Finish this up. Give us an anecdote. Give us a game. Tell us some more about an educational game. Maybe the thing you learned the most.
People suck.
Well, that lesson comes every day, so I mean it's.
Every time you look in the mirror.
Sweet burn. Got it.
If you don't think about it too hard.
Processing. Processing. Shitty joke. Move on.
I already talked about Jumpstart. Throughout this conversation, I've had flashbacks of, well, not that, whatever that was.
I stretched my leg forward and Jake slapped the palm of my foot.
High five.
Oh boy.
That
It was a high five.
No, never again. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. All right, I'm ending this section on
Okay.
some Nickelback.
Drunk
again. It's time to fight. She must have done something wrong tonight.
Somehow we lost all three of our listeners.
All right, we'll catch you on the flip side of this break. God
Kill
damn it.
us, please.
Here we are. We're back. Frank, rejuvenated.
somewhat.
We
All
plugged
right.
him in for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on the charger.
Frank, Off-Road Trading Company.
Gets it good.
Gets it good.
It gets it good.
It's a spicy meatball.
Can you
It
review
is a spicy one.
a little bit what the game is and why we liked it, and then tell us about
So we saw this game in Steam sale, 3-4 weeks ago, something like that. And the basic premise is that it is a tile-based, turn-based. Actually, no, it's real-time. A tile-based strategy game where instead of commanding units to kill and be a military, I guess, you're chaperoning a company of robotic workers, it seems, for the most part. Also real workers at some point you get.
I think it
And-
depends on
yeah.
like the one company is all robots,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and the other ones have people.
Yeah. I've only played the one with all robots, and your goal is to try and make the most money and eventually buy out the other companies that are your competition and become a monopoly. So the way you do that is you make a lot of money by extracting resources from the Martian surface and then selling them and using the money that you buy to buy shares in other companies that are your competition until you reach a majority hold. And then you're good to go.
So, I also bought the game after you bought it, and I too think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it did not meet my hype.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a little more in depth. I thought it was going to have some more features to it. I thought there was going to be more to it. And then after I played it for an hour or two, I realized like, this game isn't that deep. It's fun for when you play it, but it's something I could probably sink a total of 15 or 20 hours into before I'm done with it.
Yeah, well, so it was $9.99 to buy, and then $15 for the downloadable content. And I think some of the downloadable content was like, do this game that you're doing on like the Moon IO.
Yeah.
And it's like things corrode faster and it's a little more harsh.
It's like, it's a little harder. It's basically like do the same thing, but we're going to make it more difficult.
The other one is there's like blue chip ventures and resource sorted ventures, which are just basic scenarios to play through. There's like 17 of each, so a total of 24. That's some DLC. I think the soundtrack's DLC. The thing that really I got into it, I have been playing it pretty much every other day, and I mean to play it for half an hour, and I end up playing it for an hour and a half.
It is easy to get lost in. You
Especially
get
if you
bored
do-
pretty quick, but like you can't like you'll realize like, oh, where did those past 2 hours go?
Yeah. The thing is, though, that happens when I'm doing well. If I'm doing poorly, I know pretty quick that I'm like, oh, fuck, all right, it's been 20 minutes. The issue that I have with the game is that, let me think. The biggest issue I have with the game is if you're going to lose, or even if you're going to win, you can see it coming from pretty far away. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Yeah, once you start generating a ton of cash, it's just a matter of waiting until you have enough cash to buy enough shares to get the majority shares.
And that's the thing. It lets you know when the computer player has 50% of the money needed to buy you out. And, you know, I'll try to fine tune as much as I can. But if they get to like 97% or even like 92% sometimes, and I've paid off all my debt to raise my share price, I've bought as much of my shares as I possibly can to raise my share price. Like I've tuned all my production to produce the highest value goods to generate more money. It doesn't matter, right? In like 2 minutes, they're going to buy out my company anyway. So you just see it coming and you just go, ugh, you just got to wait it out, and then it ends, right? And now it could be because I'm not very good at the game. But it really does feel like it's going to be a common theme because I've done it to the computer before too. I had one where I was making like hand over fist crazy money, and I just strung the computer along like fucking around with other stuff, and there was nothing they couldn't touch me. Like no matter how much dynamite they dropped on me or whatever. But I'll tell you this much. I was struggling at first. So basically, you start with the headquarters. You can scout out the land, see where there's resource caches, and then you put a headquarters on the ground. Excuse me. And then you have to you build like mines to get silicon or iron. You can build, I don't know, quarries or something different for carbon and aluminum. And you have to bring in different resources depending on which CEO you are. Basically a different like race in StarCraft or something like that, right?
Yep.
And they have different features. So when you're a robot, you use aluminum and steel to upgrade, but you don't have to have any food production. So, but if you're like the science people, you need food, but you replace steel with silicon or something like that, right? And depending on the terrain, there's obviously advantages to being one or the other. And each time you upgrade your headquarters, you get like 3 to 5 more claims of land. So you can't just make money and build mines or water wells or anything like that. You have to have a land claim to claim the tile to put the thing on to mine the resource or generate whatever you want. So it's not like I think in Age of Empires you can kind of just build wherever you can build if you want to. So,
but you can claim any tile that you want.
Right.
It doesn't have to be like adjacent to your current territory or anything.
There are certain advantages to so if all your tiles are connected, you don't use fuel for transport ships, right? So so you can have a long chain of, I've done this before, 10 tiles long to get to this silicon well so that I don't use any fuel. But if you have a well sitting off by itself, it can use like a shitload of fuel, and if fuel's really expensive, that can hurt your bottom line. So you say, okay, I want more fuel. How do I do that? Well, I need to make an electrolysis plant. An electrolysis plant requires another tile, so you need another claim. But that isn't fueled by nothing, so you can either, it takes in water, so you can either purchase the water from the market, but if water is very high, you don't want to do that, so you have to build a well. But in order to build a well, you need another claim, right? And then in order to get the water from the claim, you need another freighter to bring it to your headquarters, and that uses more fuel. So maybe you need another fuel. So like all these things happen, and you got to figure out the best way to do that. Now, you can build special buildings. My favorite is the optimization building. Basically, it just increases your rate of resource generation. So let's say your well makes 1 water per second. Through optimization, it would then make 1.5. You optimize it again, it would make 2.25. Again, 3.75, that kind of thing. There is a patent lab with different technologies that you can patent if you research first and you get there. My favorite one is teleportation. Because if you come with teleportation, you don't fucking need freighters anymore. You just teleport your goods from where they're produced to your headquarters. Super duper useful. No fuel. Pirates can't get it. There are pirates.
Space pirates.
Yep.
Space pirates.
And there is no delay in how goods are produced. So if you're using a freighter or a ship or whatever, it builds to a certain threshold, either 20, 30, or 20, 40, or 60 units of silicon, iron, electronics, whatever, and then a ship lifts up, flies over to your headquarters and drops it in, and then you can use it. If they're adjacent or if you have teleportation, as it's produced, it's added to your stockpile. The advantage to that is you can sell at any given point. Your resource holdings are reflected more accurately in real time. There are other things that you can patent, like virtual reality. So your company is always centered around some sort of colony on Mars. And there are people who live at the colony. And you can build pleasure domes next to them.
Oh.
So they consume a lot of electricity, which you have to generate.
But keeps everyone happy?
Yeah, it keeps everyone happy. You can make a shipload of money. Now, if you get virtual reality, you get a 50% bonus on the pleasure dome. The more habitats that are connected to your pleasure dome, the more money it makes. But in order to build more pleasure domes, there needs to be higher food production on Mars, and then you can build, these farms. So, let's see. The other special buildings are a hacker array, so that when you utilize it, you can affect the prices of any goods. You can drive them up or down, and I think the advantages to that are obvious, right? If another company is making tons of silicon, you're like, fuck that company. You can drive the price down, and you can stockpile something that you have a lot of, and we want to dump and drive the price up on that. You can also have I think there might be 5, but I can't remember. I can only remember the 4th. There's an off-world shipping company, or off-world shipping. It's a rocket launch pad, and you shoot it to the asteroid belt, and you just make a shitload of money every like 90 seconds, which is advantageous. But by the time I get one of those, I already have so much money, it doesn't really make a ton of difference.
You're just acquiring fuck you money.
Yeah, and basically it sets up a big target for the other guys to try to fuck with, and then you're like, oh, my water wells, which are actually important, are fine. While you blow up my rocket.
My favorite is inciting like labor riots.
Right. So there are different ways that you can mess with other companies, in varying techniques, and one of them is a labor riot.
Yeah.
Which is what's that do?
Yeah, it just disrupts like their work for I don't remember how long. It's a set amount of time. I guess you like bribe their employees to fuck off for a while.
Well, and then you get the resource.
Yeah, and then they give it to you.
Yeah. You can do a magnetic storm where all ships and buildings in that area are down for like 2 minutes or whatever due to magnetic waves. You can set up pirates that steal a portion of goods shipped through that sphere. So if you have teleportation, you miss it, but they just exist on the map until they collect 100 of that resource. You can use literal dynamite, which is what I like to do. You blow things up. They can then be repaired. The one the computer likes to do to me is underground nuke. Because if you put 2 buildings of the same type next to each other, like a silicon mine next to another silicon mine, they get a bonus, a 50% bonus in production for adjacency. Now, some of these companies, like the robotics company, you can have, let's say, a glass plant that uses silicon. Instead of having to put that next to another glass plant, you put it next to a silicon production mine, and it'll still get the adjacency bonus, even though they're not the exact same thing. It gets an adjacency bonus. But typically, 2 buildings of the same type, another bonus. If you slip a 3rd in there, you get a 75% bonus. If you get a 4th one in there, it's like 85%. So you can end up, if you have like 4 of these buildings packed really tight together, you can make a lot of shit happen. Well, silicon, iron, carbon, water, they have varying degrees of resource presence. Either they don't exist on the map, they have low levels, medium levels, or high levels based on, they're represented by colored cylinders, 3 being high. This is important because your base level production varies widely between like less than 1 per second to over 2. Adjacency bonus obviously affects that. So the underground nuke, what it does is it permanently removes 2 levels of resource presence. So I have gone from high levels, got nuked twice, and it goes to trace levels. So my 5 factories producing glass go from having high silicon input with 75% production bonus to trace levels because I've been nuked twice, and suddenly I'm hemorrhaging money because since silicon production, I have the only silicon manufacturing plant on the map. The price has skyrocketed and nobody's making it because it's been nuked away from the planet. So, like the problem that I have with this game is there's so much information to keep up with. Like, you need to be not just monitoring your own share price, your own debt levels. You need to monitor your optimization, your resource consumption, but you also need to monitor what everybody else is patenting, their share prices, their distribution, like how far they're shipping everything. You need to monitor the black market to buy these underground nukes, dynamite, hacker arrays, virus storms, pirates. There are auctions of different things. You can have a mutiny, a goon squad to protect your resources.
Another one of my favorites.
Goon Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you need to monitor
fun.
all this stuff.
I don't think it's actually called Goon Squad.
No, it is called Goon Squad.
It is?
Yep.
Awesome.
You need to monitor all this stuff.
Bill's a member.
And like, I have to play the game on either slow or snail because there's just so much going on. And I haven't found a good set of hotkeys, like control whatever, to cycle through everything that I need to know. And I always feel limited in what I can actually do because I just don't have the money. So I'm really outclassed at like super average level.
It sounds almost like it's. I know you said it's by the same people who made Civ. It sounds like Civ, but it's not turn-based, so it's kind of got that extra, I don't know, reaction time that you have to have.
Yeah, like you don't get a breather. You can pause the game, and that's what I end up doing: pausing the game, issuing commands, starting it up again.
Oh.
So I turn it into more like a turn because there's just like I figure out all my resources, and I'm like, oh, I guess I got to go look at what everybody else is doing. Right. And you know, it could be my own shortfall, or it could be I really feel like I should be one of those stereotypical stock exchange guys with 4 monitors in front of them on a phone. buy, sell. Like, you know,
nobody places orders over the phone.
Space stock market.
Yeah.
Simulator.
And it's just I'm supposed to build a hacker array, optimize my stuff, manipulate the price, bomb somebody else, and boost what I need to sell to make the most amount of money. I just don't know how you do it at a normal game speed.
Being president's hard. It's okay.
I just don't know how you can quickly you can even issue those commands by pushing the screen around with your mouse. Right? Now, do I like it? I like this game a lot. I've been playing the shit out of it recently because the games really aren't all that long. So if you lose, which you do, you just do it again. And I have put it in for random settings so that I don't win at one type. Like, I don't want to just win and then not feel fulfilled because I've customized the game to let me win. But I've started to win with different CEOs. There are certain goods you can set it so goods either always have the same relative value, like so silicon's always expensive, iron's always cheap, or you can let it randomly assign it, and that's what I do. Again, because I want to feel like I beat the game, not I created a game that I could beat. But food is always expensive, which makes sense because all the companies that aren't robots eat food. The colonies always eat food. Electronics are typically expensive because nobody makes them. But once you like fill that niche, the price goes down because the production goes up, and then the computer will manipulate it. So I've sort of learned what kind of buildings to prioritize. And it really goes against my initial instincts. You need to destroy your production plants. Like you get to a certain point in the game, like you have a mine that's running, you're wasting a claim, right?
Huh.
So you get to a point where you're making like 4 aluminum. I'll have 1,200 aluminum just sitting there. And because I have so much, the price is like $4. That aluminum claim isn't doing me any good. So I got to get rid of that aluminum mine because it's costing me energy. But because of the adjacency bonuses, I could literally lose all aluminum production. I better be smart with what I have left. So I either have a claim way out there next to this aluminum thing, or I can return a claim, which is either a CEO bonus or something you can buy on the black market. So I get that claim back. I set it down next to my chemical plant, build another chemical plant, make a bunch of money because I'm getting more chemicals. Well, my resource demands go up on some of my other stuff, so I got to be careful with that. They can be bombed. They could bomb my aluminum production right now, which could really fuck me. Or my new production makes chemicals go down in price so that I have to destroy my chemical plants and on them put electronics plants. Right?
Goodness.
So there's a lot going on in a game that really takes 20 to 45 minutes. And that is probably the biggest part of the game that I find so unsatisfying. There are 2 modes that you can play. There's skirmish, which is the map is generated. There's a number of other companies. Buy everybody out and win the game. That takes 20 to 50 minutes. There's campaign. Now, I thought campaign, I was going to end up with something like Civ, in that it can take 3 to 5 hours, or even Age of Empires. Like those games can take a long, long time. You start with these like podunk villagers in medieval era, but you can upgrade your technology through like different levels. Is anybody really familiar with Age of Empires here?
No.
Can somebody explain how you progress through technology eras so that it doesn't take a 20-minute game? Like if you're playing a full game, right? You sort of go through like the copper and then silver and then or copper then.
No, that's I thought in like Civ has those eras.
I'm conflating the two.
Yeah. Age of Empires, you're still advancing, but it's like a much more compact time frame in which you're advancing. You're basically going from like the end of the Dark Ages to like pre-Revolutionary War.
Yeah. And so your technology does upgrade, and that can take a period of time, especially if you're a scrub like me. It can take a couple hours. In Off-World Trading Company, the only thing that happens when you upgrade your HQ is you get more land claims. That's it.
You're not faster or like.
No, I mean your food demands go up if you're not a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Your fuel demands can go up just from the size of your HQ, but your technology doesn't improve or anything like that. You just have more land claims. So I was like, okay, I'm really interested to see how they do the campaign. How do they make this go from, because they said campaigns can take 3 to 5 hours. I said, all right, how do they go from 20 to 50-minute experience to 3 to 5 hours? You just do more than one skirmish in a row.
Yeah.
Right? And like you do a skirmish and then you do okay. And then I always, like last night, I almost finally won the first one. I got beat out. Literally, as the game ended, the computer made a purchase. I didn't know, because it says it's the last day of the week that you have. I didn't know how many minutes there were left, and then the computer made and I fucking came in second.
So it's on a timer too, or?
Well, there is a so you play through a week in these. There's always a time of day and like a day, like they're called sols or whatever, SOL. Like for cycles around the sun or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Spinning relative to the sun. And by the end of the 7th sol, you need to have shipped the most goods off planet or built the most hospital habitats for the colony, and then you win that week. And then based on how you build your company, you get money to either give a 1-week contract or hire somebody to give you different building bonuses. So in order to have a solar energy collector, you need to have a solar energy collector operator on your payroll, or else it's locked. So you can spend $350,000 to have them for the duration of your campaign, or you can spend $100,000 to have them for 1 week, and then you have to renew them. So the other companies do that, and depending on how long you want your campaign to be, 4, 10, or 12 weeks or whatever, is how long the campaign's, how many times you're going to be in that scenario. I do 4 weeks because I still suck and I want to finally win. Well, it always ends up getting to like week 3. I've come in second place 3 times, and it goes, your shares are too low. You lose, game over.
I was gonna ask, how does that end? If you like, how do you win by winning the most weeks, or is it just having the most money at the end of the?
I think at the end of it, you have the highest share value.
Okay.
Right. And, given week to week how well you do, you have more money in between to hire specialists.
Okay.
So, like, if you hire 2 people for your solar collectors, not only are solar collectors unlocked, but their production is up by 50%, right? But it costs you money between games. So it's just skirmishes with resource limitation in between based on how you did the last skirmish. And that is not at all what I was looking for. I was looking for longer individual skirmishes into like a whole game, because the idea of a skirmish to me is like a quick playthrough, like just a little taste of what you're doing. I was thinking Age of Empires, where, like you said, you go from just post-medieval to pre-revolutionary technology, and it can take hours and hours and hours, and that's not what I got. And we were talking about the DLC. It was basically like, we're going to send you to this moon, and it's a little harder. It's the same game, but a little harder. Here's these different scenarios. So the Civilization games, like I think especially 4, had different scenarios where like the Roman Empire and it's just like you're Rome or whatever. You're a leader, and you have to defeat this other nation in a typical Civ game. So like the aesthetics aren't really changed. I never played them. They were just not fun. You know, like the American Civil War. You're both like American units. One is on the north side of the map, one is on the south side, but it's still just a Civ game. It doesn't do anything for me. So I like this game a lot. $9.99 is almost more than I wanted to spend on it. Definitely the $25. I got it because Frank got it, and I wanted us to have compatible versions. And it might end up being exactly the right decision. If he and I end up playing together, it could be really good. I don't know. Maybe he's really good at the game, and I'll learn something.
Is this a new game? Like, did it recently come out, or have they had it out for a while and you guys just found it?
I think it was the last couple of years, and it was 50% off, but 50% off from $20. So I don't think it was necessarily like a big major title release.
Right. There's only one of it, right? It's not like a series like Civ.
I don't think so. I think it came out in like 2016. Well, we saw the video, right? And the guy's like, we're releasing it in beta because we want to get this right. We want to get feedback. So it seemed pretty serious, but I guess the price tag reflects that maybe not as big.
Well, I mean, is it still considered beta right now?
No.
Oh, okay,
No,
so
no,
it's
no.
done.
That was just the video we saw.
To me, it sounds like they took a lot of what was from Civ and put it in space, and then wanted to try to see if they could get people more focused on specialists. Because I know, like in Civ, you can like pull people into each city and make them specialists. I never do it because it's a huge hassle in Civ, and it's like a whole extra thing. When you've got 10 cities you have to go between anyway each turn. Like that, and then they took away the turn-based part of it. So maybe like it sounds like they wanted it to be a shorter game, like a speedier, with like a slight strategic twist with the specialists.
Maybe that's the audience that they were listening to.
Maybe. I mean, when we
maybe there were people out there that wanted a like shorter
Quicker.
alternative to Civ.
When we were watching the video, I got the sense that they wanted it to be like combat avoidant, right? Because he was like, "Oh, all these games that you do they're basically military sims."
Yeah, and it's different. It is. It's just, well, with the mentioning of like space pirates, to me they sound kind of like the barbarians in Civ.
They're basically effects that you place on your enemies, right?
Okay, so they don't ever just randomly attack you or like come out of nowhere.
Right.
You know they're from X company.
Yeah, you hire them
to
attack other companies.
They're more like thieves, really.
Yeah.
Which is what pirates are.
Right. So the thing, the most useful thing that I have bought on the black market, and I just buy shit when I have a ton of money and retaliate against other companies because they'll bomb me 7 times in a game. I buy extra land claims because then I can put another mine down and get another 75% bonus. And that's when I started doing that, when I started purchasing extra land claims, that's when I started to see a lot more success. The thing that I am really getting about this game is that it is shorter. And it seems to be for a style of play that I have never been good at. I don't know if I can't be good at it or if it's because I'd never developed a style of play, but I think when you look at StarCraft, there used to be this thing called the Zerg Rush. Are you familiar, Frank?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Well, Chris, can you explain it a little bit?
It's Zerg. You could the base characters are really quick to develop. I think one of the
you get 3 per.
You get
right?
3 per. Yeah. So you can build up like the base soldiers, like the pawns, I guess, in a chess game, very quickly, and you could send that in because you almost guaranteed the other team is not nearly as prepared as you are for that. And so you come in, you say it's sheer numbers, really, you're attacking with.
But you can send in literally 3 like scrub lords.
Well, yeah, but you end up doing like 100 within like a really quick amount of time, and you send those in, and then you build up your advanced forces, and then go in from there.
It could be like 2 minutes. And you can
You
get
you
like
could end a game within 2 minutes with the Zerg Rush if
So-
they're not prepared for it.
And that sort of underlines to me this idea of play where like you have a game plan, you go in, you enact it, and like you know what you're supposed to do before you even start doing it. When I go in and I play Civ, I have a general idea and I have time to make decisions, and I go, in 100 years I think I'd like to have railroad before, this guy does. Let me start to make decisions now that will trickle down over there. It's not like it's not like an opening in a chess game, and that's sort of what I feel like is what you see success in StarCraft, Age of Empires, and what would bring me success in Off-World Trading Company. If I was like, okay, this is how I'm supposed to open. These are the next things that I do. This is what I rush for. Like playing as the robots who don't eat food but use a lot of fuel. I feel like I should open on certain tiles, because if you build your HQ on certain resources, you get resource bonuses, right? And I've done that, and then I can immediately upgrade to level 2, and then I have 9 claims, and then I should put 2 on this, 2 on this, 1 on this, build this plant, go up, and then I should get geothermal vents, boom. And like I think that's what you're supposed to do for this game. You're supposed to have that game plan, go in, and you make the right decisions way faster than your opponents. And that makes sense because it's a real-time strategy game. It's not just making good strategic decisions. It's making them as quickly as possible. And in Civ, it's not like that. You can take forever. So, it underlines when G and I play, because I had to set a timer on her of like 8 minutes per turn, right? Because she's just thinking and thinking and thinking. And that's what I'm used to. And that's sort of what I thought I was going to get here. Like real time, you can slow it down. But I thought I would have time to make decisions in game. And I really think I need to do research and make them before I even start to play. I think all my actions should be thought out beforehand and then sort of reactionary to whatever I'm given. So like I should know if a resource is selling at X amount of money, then I should do this to maximize profits off of it. Doesn't matter if it's electronics or chemicals or iron ore or steel, I should have this thing to do. So I think you're totally right. The people that they listen to, that's what they were looking for, and I wasn't prepared for it, and I was frustrated. But I do really, really like the game. It looks really, really good. The writing, I mean, visually, the art style reminds me a lot of the Civ series.
Yeah.
But I like it even better.
Is there like a story in the game?
Like why you're on Mars?
What is your purpose? What's driving you to do all this?
So,
What is your quest?
do you want to ask the same question another way?
No, what's your quest?
Okay, all right.
What is your journey, Bill?
Okay. What is my coming of age? What is my internal search?
What is your quest?
Perfect. Basically, I think Earth kind of sucks,
Yeah.
We knew that.
and like I think humans have like fucked it up in the game, and they're like, Mars has given the people hope. Let's see if we can make cool stuff happen. And your job is to help colonize Mars, and like things aren't great on Earth, and it's like sort of implied that humanity's future rests on making Mars good. This is how they're
Making
doing
Mars
it.
great again.
And then they're out there in the asteroid belt mining resources and shit. And like, that's who you sell to when you ship things off world. And they give really good story background on the different scenarios that you're playing. So you can play like a mining colony, and carbon and silicon cannot go below $20 per the $20 value, because the government has set the rate as that is the minimum, and they explain why. Because they want you to buy from them, and they don't want you to spend any. They don't want to make less than this amount of money, because the whole existence of the colony is to sell carbon and silicon. But if you make a bunch of production and drives the value down, they don't give a shit, because they want to sell their carbon and silicon at this price, right? The different companies have a lot of personality. The CEOs that you interact with, which are basically your world leaders from Civ, all have their own personalities.
Are they actual CEOs, like the way the leaders are, like historical figures, or is it?
No.
Okay.
No. They're characters that they've made up.
Okay.
You know, one guy's like an ex-Russian who made his money on like a website or an app or something, and now he's up there fucking around, and he understands plight of working class, and you know he gets a bonus making mutinies happen. One is one guy's like a Buddhist or something, and he's a nomad, and you get 2 headquarters.
Are we sure it's not Gandhi?
So there's not enough nukes for it to be Gandhi. There's a lot of really, really good and fun writing. The game looks really great. The menu system is not ideal for me. I end up finding myself like accidentally clicking and getting stuck in a menu instead of minimizing it. Like I said, I'm not familiar enough with hotkeys to know that there are any, but if there aren't, that's a big shortfall too. Because there's so much information to go through, and there's probably a modding community I can get into, but I've had 2 weeks of gameplay with this.
Right.
But I am really, really liking it. It is definitely, they did a great job of making a real-time strategy game that does not center around combat and instead is economically based. Yeah, business.
Literally a business factory.
But the problem that I'm running into is it seems like there is a way to win. And it's like the way.
There's not multiple ways to get to it. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's disappointing because, I don't know, for me and for a lot of the games that I play, I like to have multiple options to beat a game. Like example, like, obviously, where we've spoken at length several times, Jake and I played Metal Gear Solid. There's hundreds of ways that you can play that game. You can play each side op, each mission a completely different way every single time. I just started playing Fallout. Same thing. You could play a myriad of different ways, and if there's only one way to win, that's just not going to jive with me.
And there are different variations that you could do. You could make different products, but in the end, like, you have to buy out the other company, and you either do that. It's how do you make money to do that? The big thing that you can do is, inhibit the other company from making more money and drive down their stock price. Whereas in Civ, like, you can send religion in to get certain bonuses. You can become technologically advanced. You can invade. You can have your culture overcome. You can do a space race. Now, part of the very nature of Civ is that it's a long game, which means you could do more shit. Right? A 20 to 50 minute game, you just can't do as much. But Age of Empires, the idea that when you upgrade your HQ, you get access to more technology. I think that's how it works. And in Off-World Trading Company, when you upgrade your HQ, all you can do is get more resources. I think that underlines the issue right there. You never become more capable technologically or anything like that. You just gain more resources. Now, I mean, you either build more factories, build more manufacturers, or you get this teleportation technology, which to me doesn't really feel like, it feels like you're procuring another plant, like a shipping plant or something. Call it whatever you want. You're in optimization, it's like building another plant just through a different way, right? The very nature of the game, it just seems so limited. That's why I don't love it. I like it a lot. If there was an off-road trading company too, I would get really hyped for it. I will buy it, but
not $20 worth.
I mean, you know what? I probably would spend $20 on the next one, but I wouldn't get the DLC, and I don't think I would get my hopes up as much as I did on this one. I really, really thought we might see it. It was going to be crazy good. I thought I was getting a steal. I thought I was getting an.
I mean, the advertising that we watched was very good.
Yeah,
like they sold their product.
Oh yeah.
We were all definitely, if I remember correctly, we were all very convinced on this game by the time we were done watching that video.
But if you play 3 games, you got it. Everything you've seen the whole game in an hour to 2.5 hours of gameplay.
That's disappointing.
It is what it is. It's not a bad game. I was a little let down, but I will continue to play so that I can get better and reflect if my opinion changes as I get better at the game. You know, I'll start doing some reading. I'll try to play with Frank.
Why would you want to do such a thing?
He wants to lose. He likes to lose.
I literally think about your shit.
I mean, dude, you
talk
play
when I
against the
a game.
computer all the time. Like, you're just going to play against another computer.
And yeah, exactly. But Frank, do you have any closing thoughts on that? I know you're a little hurting today.
Yeah. No, everything you said I actually agree with. I'm right there with you. I expected there to be some, I don't know what more, but I just expected there to be something more to the game. And then I was kind of let down when I found out it was like fairly simple, but it's still fun. I agree. It's still a good game.
Yeah.
Worth the $10. Probably not all the DLC. We could have skipped that.
Yeah. All right. Jake, you're going to hit us with Oh My Gore?
Yeah, let's take another quick break, though.
All right. Catch you on the flip side. Frank is down for the count.
He's dead.
He died.
He's done.
It's over.
G and I actually have another obligation to get to. Sorry, listeners. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. But the content has been so juicy. So I think I think you got your money's worth.
Spicy.
I think
Your
you got
free
your
money.
no value monies, none money's worth of content.
After
Really
a
says
whole
a lot.
game about economy and finance, you got nothing.
Our share price is still zero.
Zero.
All right, so we had chatted, I guess, a couple of 3 weeks ago on Oh My Gore. Jake picked it up for 99 cents. None of us
50.
50 cents.
50 cents.
Ooh,
I
like
meant
that even more?
I meant to buy it and I didn't. Actually, what did I buy last week? Hyper Light Fighter.
I played Drifter. I also bought that and still haven't played it.
I haven't played it either.
For
We can
reasons
say
I will.
that
Next time.
But you have gotten some hands-on on Oh My Gore.
I have.
Please let us know about it.
So, real quick, currently I can't play it. Nor can I play Hyper Light Drifter. Nor can I play Fallout, any of them, or Skyrim, or Half-Life, or anything I have in my Steam
Why is
library.
that, Jake?
Because Windows 10 was like, oh, I'm going to give you a little update here. Here's a little download update for you. And then my graphics card was like, what?
Literally that. I witnessed a moment of this.
My computer literally said, what? And then nothing boots. None of my games boot. It's really exciting.
Dude,
so.
this happened to me a couple days ago. Windows updated, and then Overwatch updated because that's what I play.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Overwatch, my microphone didn't work for a week, and then it worked for some reason.
So at some point, NVIDIA, I have an NVIDIA 1080, okay, GeForce 1080, very, very good. It's not the TI, which is better, but it's almost as good.
It's really good.
It's very good. I can run Fallout 4 with literally 120 mods at 60 frames per second in 4K, including 4K retextures of everything. So
So sexy.
I have the Starship Enterprise, but currently its shields are down, and it's I need Chief O'Brien. He's not around. So now that I'm done being a total dork, basically I can't play the game currently. However, I have, before all this shit happened, I was able to put probably about 10 hours into Oh My Gore. I'm actually stuck on a level where I'll just get into deadlocked with the enemies, and eventually they get another damage boost and I lose. But let's get into the game proper. It's yes.
Could you give us a quick like overview of the game for people who didn't?
Yeah, that thing I was about to do. Sure.
Oh, okay.
So
You're welcome.
So you play as an evil demon lord or something, and you're trying to take over the mortal world and enslave everybody, basically. And you come back, and you have a hero. He's a skeleton. He's a skeleton warrior guy, and he's like really dorky and nervous and doesn't like. It's all text box dialogue. It's very snarky, very over the top. I'm super evil and fuck everybody. And then this hero in air quotes, is like, oh, well, I mean, you lost last time, whatever. So the plot is you're just trying to take over everything and kill the forces of light. And there's it's kind of like medieval-ish. The enemies you face are humans, knights, elves, angels, stuff like that.
Yes, medieval.
Yeah, I mean it's not 100%. It's not very serious,
Right.
by any stretch. The dialogue is insane. But you go through. It's a bit like Heroes of the Storm or League of Legends, and that there are lanes that the basic units, both yours and the enemies, will follow. Right, there's literal paths that they are locked to for the most part. The major departure from those other larger games is that you can't control them. When you deploy them, they go in the direction and they do not stop until they die or they hit a dead end, and you can't redeploy them. It's over.
Is it like Plants vs. Zombies
A bit.
in that way?
A bit. Yes. In fact, Plants PVZ has kind of a similar
That sounds
sort
like
of
a
feel.
disease.
Except Plants v Zombies, you're like defending an area. It's a tower defense game, right? So you're in Plants vs. Zombies. You have a place that you need to defend, and you put up turrets of different sorts to stop waves of enemies, right? This is a very, very similar idea, except way, way bloodier, way lower fi and over the top, like 8 to 16-bit style graphics.
You're giving me a chubby, Jake.
The paths are not one direction. I mean, they are one direction along the path, but the paths will wind pretty significantly in totally irrational ways. And then what you do is, unlike Heroes of the Storm or League of Legends, where you play a character who's active on the battlefield and doing stuff, you can't do that. All you're doing is resource management. You have food and gold are your resources. They both generate over time, and with gold also regenerates with killing enemies. Food is just over time. Food is what you need to generate units who you can send out, who will, again, just kind of autopilot until they hit something and die or achieve their objective, whatever. And you can deploy units, you can deploy towers and traps. They cost money. And so the objectives really are to basically get to the end of a given map or to resist all the waves that the enemies will send against you, depending on the map in question. It starts off really, really easy because it's tutorializing and, oh, look, you need to destroy the enemy's one base. You have 2. Like, just go. Just win already, you idiot. But it just shows you on the controls. It's pretty effective at showing you what everything means, and it's not so convoluted that it's hard to keep track. There was one mission I was stuck on for a while where you could not deploy units. You didn't have a base. I should have mentioned, on every map, your hero, and you start with a skeleton dude who gives you certain powers and stuff like that. He can you have like an ability where you can raise up to 4 fallen creatures, whether they were friendly or not, to fight for you. They don't move. They just stand like near their area and auto-target stuff that comes near them. So he gives you that power. You always have a fireball spell regardless. So that has like area of effect damage. Everything has cooldowns. As you progress, you unlock other heroes you choose your hero at the start of each mission. The second one you get's like a spider woman, who she gives you different units, like a half spider, half like orc, who's really fast, or
cool.
or dirt cheap like Zerg Rush style little spiders who die really fast, but they cost 2 food, which is nothing. So you can just sling them out. And then I think I have the third hero too, who is I don't know what he's like a gargoyle, and he gives you other. You can spawn gargoyles with him who are immune to like floor traps and have like other. There's like weaknesses and resistances and stuff to like arrows, swords, rocks, and the turrets range from arrows to Gatling guns for some reason, which are my go-to. And there's one that increases your turret's range if it's nearby them. There's a gargoyle statue one that throws boulders and it has a longer range than most out of the gate. So it's really about strategic turret placement and knowing where best to send the next wave of enemies. The one I'm stuck on right now is it's sending waves of enemies from 4 different directions, and I hit a point where I have these nigh impenetrable lattices of turrets. Like assholes come up to try to fuck with them and just get torn to shreds by fully upgraded Gatling guns. Like for just like tiles and tiles straight, they're just constantly getting shot at and they have no chance. But they add in this new enemy type, these fire bombers who are like really fat and covered in steel, and they're slow moving, but they have a gazillion health, and they first thing they do was target turrets, and they destroyed them very fast. And their only weakness is fire, and I have nothing that can deal fire damage yet. So like
fireball, right?
Right. So and the waves are so constant that like they wipe out my forces. Like and okay, great. The last round of waves got wiped out by my turrets, but by the time my guys get past my own turrets, they're just come up the next wave of enemies hits them and they die. So like I literally have spent upwards of 4 hours on this each attempt at this mission, sitting here in just perfect equilibrium of neither side making progress. But over time, the enemies do get damage buffs and health buffs. Like the next wave, it doesn't tell you, oh, that enemy, like those fire bombers, they start with like 2,000 HP, which is a lot for the start of a game. But once you have these turrets up, it's like not that big a deal. But then they crack like 15,000, and I'm just like, you don't get any buffs. So your enemies don't increase in damage over time like that. You can level up as a player and go back to the main menu and upgrade things in very, very small increments. But yeah, I'm stuck. But here's the thing. I think I'm like 8 missions through it. Based on the world map, it looks like I'm roughly or just shy of halfway through the game. And I've already, I hit the $1 per hour ratio in the tutorial. So, like whatever. But 50 cents, even $2, even $5, I think it's worth it.
Here's a weird question. Have we saved this yet? Have we saved it yet?
Yes, we have.
Okay, because over your shoulder, I just watched your screen turn half purple with vertical streaks.
It does that sometimes.
Okay.
I thought I was nuts.
No.
Thank you
I
for
missed that
confirming that I'm not
entirely.
nuts.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Bill.
the Starship Enterprise has some goofy shit going on.
Okay. So, 50 cents, and you've enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right.
Worth it.
I mean,
Challenging.
I went to look at it because I wanted to get it too, and I think it's like $9.99. Would you get it for $9.99?
No.
Okay.
No.
But 50
Yeah, I was gonna say I watched you play some of that time, and I think I want to play too, but I don't think for $9.99.
Right.
No.
It goes to
It is
$1.
not. It is not worth $10. 5, consider it. 2 or less, 100%. 100%.
So we'll just need Windows to get its shit together. Like my microphone that just got its ass working again. What else? Like I've had Off-World Trading Company, which is a Steam game. Steam is,
We talk about Steam every week, and I have to explain it.
Good point.
If you don't know what it is by now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Cool.
I was just thinking about my dad listing. He was like, they mentioned Steam a whole lot. Never explained what it is.
Hi, sir. Sorry to fuck
Hi,
on
Dad.
you. Sorry to fuck on you, sir. Normally we just fuck on Bill.
Yeah. So a Steam game broke, and Overwatch also broke, and it would like crash 8 times in a row, and the 9th time it would launch. It was just like I would try to change into group chat, and it would crash.
See, I've never tried 8 times for anything.
Right.
Maybe I just need to cross number 7.
Yeah, I don't. I just keep clicking it because I want to play Overwatch with Carl, or I want to like beat this stupid skirmish that crashed my. And I'm like, is it my machine? And I would have thought yes, but when I finally got into an Overwatch game, everybody was playing, also had a Windows update, and was also having problems with like their microphone or whatever. So. I guess
Microsoft.
Speaking of which, maybe we can real quick get this week's Steam in, and then we'll call it a wrap. I know that there's some good shit up for sale because when I logged into Steam the other day, it showed me boobies and ass heard lie I tried to believe.
What?
For up to 85% off. Yeah, it looks like another click
You
simulator.
just like sound like you just took like random words and put them together.
Nope.
Now.
If you listen,
I mean, that's what every sentence is, but
Random words. But that wasn't organized.
Yeah. Well, no. If you remember, Her Lie Tried to Believe, a game that Genevieve and I both played.
I tried to
talked
forget
about.
that.
click left simulator.
But there is like another anime comic game up to 85% off, and I was like sick. There it is.
Neptunia?
Hyper Dimension Neptunia franchise.
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 $30.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be
Holy
super cheap and dumb. No, this shit is legitimately
What
like.
is it? Like,
apparently, it exists. I don't know what
it's
the
just
fuck
girls.
it is.
It's just girls.
Is this a Korean game or is it Chinese?
I don't know what. I think there's no.
This looks kind of Korean.
I think those are Japanese symbols.
This is 100% Japanese.
Is
Chris,
it?
you're drunk.
I am.
But
actually.
Well, it looks like you actually move around the world. It's not.
I mean, so far I'm just seeing dialogue and menus.
Yeah.
There was like that one.
Here's some health bars.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
guess
So
you
this
fight-
is an
Okay,
actual.
here's some animations.
Okay.
It's
This
just like a JRPG.
Okay. Yeah.
A
It is.
what?
Yeah.
A Japanese role playing game. JRPG.
okay.
Oh, there's a sexy cat girl.
That's a cat girl.
Oh fuck.
I have a massive boner.
Yep. Everyone has a boner, including Genevieve.
I'm getting
Look at
getting
it. Ooh.
getting a raging clue right now.
Ooh, look
Raging
at this.
clue.
Ooh.
My clue's pointing this way.
Oh, is that actual gameplay right there?
This looks like gameplay.
Wow, this is not what I expected it to be. But I mean,
False alarm.
the picture on Steam was literally just titties and ass,
Yes.
cat
I mean-
girl, angel looking over her shoulder at me.
It is the selling point.
Yeah. I
It
wonder
caught your eye.
what exactly. Well, I want to know what the first one is. If the first one is also the cheapest, I'm gonna have to buy my way into this franchise. But even this game's 75% off. It's fucking $7.50.
That's too
Yeah.
much.
This game must be like hugely popular.
It's probably popular in the East.
Hyper D.
I can't tell which of these is like the first game.
I have no
They
idea.
all
This
have
is
weird
such
names.
like a different Hyper Dimension Rebirth
West.
3. Maybe these
Rebirth
are
1,
there's
Rebirth 2,
4.
Rebirth 3.
The Hyper Neptunia 2, Hyper Dimension
7.
Noir.
I'm already like complete. Whatever interest might have been fostered here, I've lost
No.
it. I don't know about
Yeah, I
you
don't
guys.
know. I don't care for it anymore.
I'm buying one of these. I don't know which one.
just buy the cheapest one.
Yeah.
This one's $6.
Okay.
80% off.
Okay.
Do that. There's
Jesus.
two of them that are $6. So
Oh,
you-
well, one
you-
of them's
you
got
can-
titties.
Oh, titties.
Big boobies and a
Big old bubs.
silver hair, blue eyed anime demon girl
Oh my god.
with a leather top and bubbies. How could you?
Such bubbies.
How could you not want that?
Jesus Christ. Anyway, Euro
Shadow
Truck
of War,
Okay.
the next installment of the Middle Earth game. We played.
I have to tell Steam, even though I'm logged in under my own account, what my stupid birthday is. Hang on a sec, guys.
Middle Earth.
I still gotta play this. I feel real bad that I haven't played it yet because I really liked the first one.
the first one was great, and that was the Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah.
Right? This is the second installment, mostly positive. Reviews recent are mixed, so they must have made some change, or I don't know. Fucking
Well,
Maybe
it's
it's
something.
328.
Glitching.
Yeah, but
Don't put
that
too
usually
much stock
that
in
seems
that.
to indicate that they did some policy change.
I think wasn't the mixed reviews about it? Wasn't there like a whole like loot crate thing or loot box like situation? But I feel like if I remember correctly, going through Reddit, they did eventually get rid of it.
Yeah,
I think.
everybody's
How-
trying to loot crates.
What, like DLC through Loot Crate or like what's?
No, it was a play to win.
Oh, okay.
Pay to
which
win.
obviously, pay to win, which is obviously very much frowned upon these days.
So basically, it used to be you would just pay money and pay to win to get better weapons and shit. Now they've started loot crates, so you pay money at a random chance in like a treasure chest to open with the equipment that you then will be strong enough to win with.
Fuck the one person that came up with that, because that was one person's idea. Fuck them.
It's highly profitable, so companies are really working on it. But this game, it is a must-have if you enjoyed the first Shadow of Mordor. If you enjoyed the combat system of the Batman Arkham series, if you liked Assassin's Creed, this game is also for you. If you have any interest in solid Lord of the Rings games, which actually there are a lot of, even the movie games were good.
Yes,
Chris,
especially Return of the King. Return of the King was very good.
Yeah,
the last one.
This game, it helps you understand more of the lore of this entire world, which how this all came out of one guy's brain, I don't fucking know.
Well, I mean, I actually, it's really funny that we're watching this, because the past couple nights I've been doing like the abridged versions of Tolkien lore just to go to sleep, because it's extremely exhausting. But yeah, no, it's absolutely incredible. I think I some of it's based a lot of the stuff that, like, a lot of people that know Lord of the Rings, they know the movies. They haven't really dove into the books. So there's a lot of like this back lore that like these games are starting to flesh out, but slowly. They kind of take a small idea from like the Silmarillion or the appendices from Lord of the Rings and all that stuff, and they're creating these storylines around it, which is really nice because, I mean, I even in a small dose, it's a lot to digest, and I think that they really grasped it very well.
They are not trying to get too cute. Whoever got their hands on this lore, it's not like in movies where they go, oh, well, we'll just completely change it because we're going from a book to a movie. You know how like people will go, oh, creative license, and then totally undermine the integrity of the thing that you've loved for your whole life. This game has not, the first one at least did not do that. They're gory. It's a gory game. It's rough. It's grungy. It's mean.
It definitely
it's
really gives you a good slice of war, and like literally. And
what we're looking at here, this gameplay, it looks like they've taken everything that we loved from the first game and expanded it. You look like you can put together an army of people that you've basically possessed through defeating and taking.
I really like
mines.
this perspective of the Middle Earth map that they're giving us right now in the video. They're going through kind of like, it looks like they're going through locations. So like
Game of Thrones kind of.
Right, yeah. It kind of like they started off at Minas Tirith and then they kind of like started to go through Mordor, and it's just like a really well done perspective of everything. Visually, it is very striking. Me personally, being as big of a Lord of the Rings fan as I am, and knowing the map as it is, that was really refreshing to see. I thought that was very nice.
Everything about, and like I said, they didn't get too cute on the last one. I think that they're going to be the same way this time. They are just trying to make a good game, and nobody's like, well, my ideas are better than the original. No, they're sticking true. It seems to stick true to its roots. So 50% off for a game that was released not long ago. This looks amazing. High value.
How much is it for 50% off?
It's got to be $30.
$30.
Man, that is almost a must-have. All right. What else we got?
From what I understand, you will break 30 hours playing that game as well. So
Euro Truck Simulator. Now, if you were German, this would be the thing for you. Apparently, the Germans love simulators over there.
We should get Klaus.
Oh,
Klaus's opinion.
You know what? Maybe after we play, I'll have him play a little bit of a simulator and see what he says.
If he actually does some fucking work before he shows up here, sure, fine.
Okay. Okay, we see a truck driving around.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Trees, truck.
You know, we were shitting on Mud Runner the other day, then we all wanted to buy it by the end of it.
By the end of the video.
Oh my God, there's
Mud
actually
Runner
a
does
person.
look sweet.
I don't know.
This is
Are you actually gonna
less
get
sweet.
a truck thing? Like a?
I think you literally just drive a truck, and from what I understand, I've read people who play these games, like, if you go too fast, you get fined.
Oh my goodness.
It's like
Such a tragedy.
That is excellent.
no, it's like the
It's real.
the
The simulator.
This is a game for people in nursing homes.
no, I have literally read guys who drive trucks for a living. When they pull off the road, will then
Is this
play
what they
this.
fucking do?
They'll play this in their truck right before they go to bed.
Why?
Right, like you're customizing your truck all these different ways. You're changing the cab.
Are they like trying to like live out their trucker dream that they'll
Yeah,
never
why
achieve
not?
because America
Why
through
not?
through this game?
No, but it's not. This is European Truck Simulator, and like these guys will play it too. You know, it's funny. One guy was talking about like
It's also got a shitload of cities in it.
tons of cities
all
to
Europe.
see. And if you like break the country's laws, you know, the countries that have cameras everywhere, they just mail you a fine. You know, like you can get caught in traffic and be.
I
like,
mean, maybe it might be different for the Europeans because, like, obviously you can drive a couple hours and you'll be in a different country. So, like, this could be
Secretly.
a lot more exciting for them where, like, things change, you know, from country to country to country where, like, here in the States.
I think this is just how the Europeans get us to drive their trucks for them.
We don't.
Euro
This
Truck,
is a trick.
dude. This is Euro Truck Simulator 2.
Euro
So
trick.
there's definitely a 1.
I don't know, man. This looks pretty appealing. Billy Boy might pick this up. All right, let's.
Or how much?
$5.
$5.
Yeah, not bad.
Worth considering.
Yep.
Anything
I guess
at
if you
$5
get
or
5
below.
hours.
Anything at $5 or below is worth considering.
All right, what the fuck is Y-Lands?
What if there's X lands?
Elands.
Elands is a unique sandbox adventure game which allows you to explore
Oh,
your creativity. It is also a platform for making custom games ranging from simple to sophisticated. This looks like that game that was like have fun farting around.
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, the art style looks interesting.
Mildly better.
You're like a sailor.
Polygon.
It's like
business.
overtly like too polygonal and cell shaded.
This looks like a third person stylized Minecraft.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. This looks. It's
a bear!
That's me.
I'm getting way too many Minecraft
No!
vibes.
He killed the
Me too many
bear.
what?
Minecraft vibes.
Yeah, I mean this game
Like,
looks
you're on a
fun,
boat now.
but it's $10.05.
Nah.
No hard pass.
$5 probably.
Yeah, this does look pretty cool though.
This is a little different. It's smooth for as polygonal.
Yeah.
Right.
As it looks, it's very smooth and polished,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
early
$10.
access. Fuck. I don't like spending over my $5 threshold for early access.
Yeah.
Hate to say it.
Interplay 35th anniversary weekend sale. Mouthful.
It's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff.
Battle chest.
Battle
What?
chest! I don't know what that is.
What is Battle Chest?
I don't know, but it looks super hype. Wait! Oh!
Same?
Shut it down! Shut it down!
There's
It's
7.
here! Castles 2 Siege and Conquest.
Whoa.
The game that I grew up playing with my stepdad. Are you fucking kidding me? They have it on Steam!
Bill's actually hyped for this.
Oh!
Whoa!
Holy fuck!
Didn't you talk about this on the show?
I did! This game is amazing! Oh! This has literally got me started on strategy games. Holy fuck, it still looks like garbage! Oh my god. Oh, yes, it's got the horrible black and white flash videos in it. Oh my god, this game is tremendous.
So much
Wow. $3.39. Buy it. If you love yourself in any way, buy it.
Holy shit!
I still have the DOS
Wait,
version.
did that
of
just
it.
say this is like BBC like footage?
It looks like it, and then
Holy
terrible
shit.
game.
This game is
background.
I couldn't even. This probably has all the content. I couldn't even get all the content running. The big thing that it's going to be missing is that to check for piracy, it made you look in the manual on a certain page and answer questions. You had a 35-page manual of lore, and it made you read the lore and
What?
answer
That's
these questions.
actually brilliant.
Yeah, and if you got it wrong, the game just shut down. It was pretty great.
That's
Castles 2 Season
That's some
Quan-
forward thinking right
Wow.
there. What's the
All
price
right.
tag on that? Well, no, it doesn't even matter. Like
$3.39.
your enthusiasm alone sold me on that game.
$3.39. Dude, that was the game you could get drunk and sit next to your buddy and build up your army of shit tier knights to attack the Pope. It's
Word.
so much fun.
Yo, is that Earthworm Jim?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh,
Earthworm Jim
shit.
Collection, slut.
What?
$6.79.
dirty
3
mouth.
games.
Ooh.
Oh my
That might happen.
glob.
That might happen. Yep.
Dude, this week
Yo, this is an exciting week on Steam.
this week
listeners.
is hot. Holy shit.
Interplay Solitaire, done. $5. I pay $5 for Solitaire from Interplay.
Wow.
Let's do it.
You gotta pay $4 for a grenade. Lionheart, that looks cool. Man, I wish these were all like 50 cents, but they're such incredible.
Yeah.
Dude, I always wanted to play the original Siege and Conquest on DOS. I mean, we know I like the original stuff, but holy fuck, I might have to buy this up. Star Trek.
Yeah, what's the Star Trek business going on?
Judgment Rights. What the fuck? It's second from the top on the left.
I mean, I've always like one of
Oh
my
my
always biggest
God.
complaints was like you don't see a whole lot of Star Trek. You get a million fucking Star Wars games, but just not enough Star Trek games.
8 original point and click missions into your computer.
All right, I'm gonna say this right now, and it's. I think really what you're paying for is the fact that somebody took the time to make this into a game on Steam that will probably run on your machine
Whoa.
with minimal problems. All this stuff, I'm willing to bet, is abandonware. Either abandonware or where somebody doesn't care about the license for it, so you can just download it for free, or something else. Because I know Castles 2 Siege and Conquest you can find if you just Google it, and you can download it, and you got to run it in like DOSBox, which is a Microsoft DOS. It was before Windows emulator, but that's a pain in the ass, right? So you can get all these games, I think, for free if you just Google them, but these will probably run on your machine no problem, and I think that's what you're paying for. Holy
You're paying
shit.
for the convenience at this point.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what I think's going
Yeah,
on.
so that's pretty cool. Earthworm Jim is a
Nice.
Wow.
35 years. Let that sink in. ladies
Rainbow
and
Six
gentlemen.
Siege 50% 1999.
Stellaris. I keep having that on my watch list.
What is that?
It's some space game. I think you do cool shit. Mostly negative. They must have made a big change.
Oh,
Maybe loot boxes.
Oh, that's a lot too.
Let me see. What is it? This space strategy game. I mean, how much more do you need to know? That sounds pretty awesome. But $15.99 is still too expensive for a brand new franchise to me right now. And then the other one is Hearts of Iron.
Hearts of Iron 4.
4. Amazing series from what I've read. Absolutely tremendous about playing through the different like could haves in I think World War II.
This is good footage
technology
that they're
era.
using.
This is World War II.
Yeah, it like you manage different countries and tanks, and you play through the conflicts. You can play through North America in different ways with different countries. You manage like invasions at a macro level. Like if your troops are struggling, you have to find a way to get them resources. I think and different alliances. Great series, great series, but it's still $16.
I'll pass.
And maybe I'll buy one of the. Oftentimes, when a newer installment like that is on sale, they'll have the originals on sale for like
for even more.
$2, and I'll say 50% of the time you end up getting a really good deal doing that. So, all right,
Bully? Is that on sale?
no, that was not on sale. It was just mentioned. Okay, what am I going to pick up? I'm going to put everything in the Interplay 35th anniversary weekend sale on my watch list.
I'm thinking Earthworm Jim.
Well, see, that's the thing. I really could just download it and run it for free, right? I want all these games, but I don't have $200 to spend on them.
Right.
And so,
Well-
I'm sorry. I totally spoke over your time. Your time to go, but
I mean, that's all I had to say. That's the only one I have any experience playing is Earthworm Jim, and I like it. I never finished the game. I think my sister took it from me, so there's that. So I think of all these games, that would be what I choose.
sick. Okay, Chris.
What was that game that you were raving about? That's what it was all about.
Castles 2.
Castles 2 Siege and Conquest.
Yeah, that your enthusiasm alone sold me.
Oh my god, dude! You either get real drunk or real baked, and just going with an open mind. It is so fucking ridiculous. And like spend all the time it takes and the resources to get a knight and send him in with expectations that he's going to run train and then watch him just fucking suck a big fat cock. It is amazing.
Sweet.
I'm going to pick up Euro Truck Simulator because I missed Mud Runner. This is a whole world I mean, these games are huge.
$5.
We must be missing something, so I'm going to pick that up and find out what
It
all
looks
the hype
like
is
it's
about.
made by the same people that do like Goat Simulator. Is that like a franchise like Simulator? 'Cause
No,
it's like the
Go
same.
Go Simulator, and there's another one. Grass Simulator is one they did. They're dog shit on purpose.
Okay.
Okay.
This is fundamentally different.
All right, Jake, wrap us up.
Andor. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to pick up anything this week.
After all that hype, we just like.
Well, if
tossed.
you would.
I really want to play Rainbow Six Siege, and I really want to play both Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, but I cannot justify any of those picks in the budget with these sales.
Just be a patient gamer. It'll come back.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Sorry for the shorter episode, but, we got things to do. Trying to get out there, make
Other
it
things
big.
are more important than all of you, is what it boils down to. So.
All right. And with that, don't forget, cock 'em, lock 'em, and rock 'em, baby.
Thank you.